And brought to you by St. Louis, Missouri, this is Bombers Game Mic. I'm Paul D, and today is a very, very, very full day of St. Louis Cardinal baseball. With the rainout last night, there's a split doubleheader today. The first game scheduled to start in, roughly about 5 minutes or so, first pitch, and then 6:15 p.m. tonight for the Game 2 that was already on the docket. And the starting pitchers going for the Cardinals here in Game 1, of course, is the right-hander Andre Pallante, who I can describe as being good enough so far. What he's going to have to watch out for here is this this Reds team is adept at going and hitting the long ball. They're also quite good at scoring runs. They definitely are one of the more notable teams in both those respects. Don't have great average, however. Take that the way ever you want to take it, of course. And so really Pallante, it's going to be quite important for him to keep the ball in the ballpark, especially at a place like Great American Ballpark where, home runs have been known to fly now and then. And then you have Chris Paddack, who has had a genuinely awful 2026 for the Reds. And there's not really any, colorful way of sugarcoating that any way you look at it. So he's looking to turn it around today. And really, quite frankly, who could blame him? So let's get this thing started off here. And the chat's already going nuts. And we got the Firefox. Welcome. Thank you for kicking it off in the chat here this afternoon. Let's go Cardinals. And yeah, what happened yesterday is the game, it got rained out, postponed, so they're playing the split doubleheader today. I have both of those games here for you. And wherever you may be watching, if you're just joining, let me know in the chat where you're watching or listening from. Now here is the Cardinals starting lineup today. It's going to sound slightly familiar. Leading off at second is J.J. Witherholt. Batting second is the catcher, Ivan Herrera. Batting third, playing first, is Alec Burleson. Batting cleanup, playing right, is Jordan Walker. Then in the fifth hole is Nolan Gorman. He's the DH today. Then batting sixth, the shortstop, Mason Wynn. Then the seven hitter, Torres, playing left. Of course, Nate Church went on the IL about a day and a half ago. Then batting eighth, the third baseman, Prieto. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Victor Scott the second. For the Reds, you have Belady leading off in left. You have their all-world Ellie De La Cruz batting second. He's at short. Then you have Stewart. He's the DH. You have Lowe batting cleanup, playing first. Suarez playing third, batting fifth. Steer, the second baseman, he's batting sixth. Dunn, the right fielder, he's batting seventh. No relation to Adam Dunn. Interestingly enough, I did look that up. And then you have Stevenson, the catcher. He's batting eighth. And in center field, you have Myers batting ninth. And, of course, going and starting this afternoon for the Reds is Chris Paddack. If you look at the numbers, just ain't pretty. He just ain't pretty. So, no kind way of putting that, unfortunately, for Chris Paddack. But, let me take care of this real quick. I don't know what it wanted. I can't be sure. Okay. But we're a couple minutes away here. There we go. Yeah, don't use, stop asking. Okay. Technology, folks. Am I right? Am I right? So, we are awaiting first pitch here. Watching from Seattle, the Pacific Northwest is chiming in here today. And yeah, I would really like to sweep these guys, no question whatsoever. But if you're just joining us here, you're getting ready just around first pitch, where we'll have J.J. Witherholt leading off against Chris Paddack. And, I got to say about J.J. Witherholt, this may be his rookie season, but how easy is it to forget that in terms of just how well he generally plays the game? He has just slotted in there perfectly from day one, and it's very easy to forget sometimes that he's a rookie. And that is as special as it sounds. 100%. So we're just getting ready here for first pitch. Cardinals appear, at least at present, to be wearing their traditional road grays, like these ones right here. And the Reds, they're wearing their alternate red top with the big script Reds across the chest in white. And interestingly enough, the Cardinals are wearing their navy cap today, not their red. Something that they haven't shown off as much in recent years, but I've always been a big fan of. Yeah, JJ is doing awesome. Chris Paddack, pretty much fastball changeup. Like I said, hasn't been so far effective that much this year. He's just finishing up his warm-ups. And we'll be kicking off here on Game Mic in just a moment. And Belady out there in left, Myers in center, Dunn in right, Suarez at third, De La Cruz at short, Steer at second, Lowe at first, Stevenson behind the dish, and on the mound is Chris Paddack. That is your defensive alignment today for the Cincinnati Reds. Now stepping onto the rubber is Paddack. Here's the lefty Witherholt, and here's the first pitch. Called strike, outside corner, down and away, a four-seam fastball, and we are underway. J.J. Witherholt through 48 games, 239, 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, a 771 OPS. Now here's the pitch. Chop foul down the first base side, now to play on a curveball down and away, and the count is now quickly no balls and 2 strikes. And obviously, this is the leadoff at bat. There's nobody on. Paddack from the full wind. Now, here's the 0-2. Down and away with changeup out of the zone, 85 miles an hour. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Cardinals' left-handed hitting second baseman. Paddack, he has his sign. He winds the 1-2 pitch. Foul down the third base side and out of play. And that'll keep the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And given how much baseball I'm going to be calling today, capping up is very necessary. Coming set is Suarez, it's Paddack. And here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, a changeup. It was down and in 85 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. And the count's even at 2-2. If you're just joining me here, let me know where you're watching or listening from right in the chat. Always love to know that. Paddack comes wind, and he deals. Chopped up the middle. Right there is De La Cruz. He fields, fires to first in time for the first out of the inning. So actually a lot of range there shown by De La Cruz. He was very much shaded towards right field in that sort of semi-shift alignment, whatever you can get away with today after the shift ban. And he actually fielded that on the right field side of second. Now here's Ivan Herrera hitting 262 on the air, righty-righty matchup. Paddack comes wind. And here's the first pitch. Hit on up the middle and through for a base hit past the diving second baseman. And the Cardinals have themselves a 1-out single here in the top of the first inning. And if there's one thing that the Cardinals need at the moment is some offense. It obviously went blank in Game 2 against the Pirates. Wasn't much better on the Businessman Special on Thursday afternoon that concluded the series. Now here's Alec Burleson. He's hitting 290 with 7 home runs, 34 RBIs through 48 games. Righty-lefty matchup. Herrera leads off first. Here's the pitch. Showing bunt and bunting foul on the cutter down and away. And the count is 0-1. I don't know why the 3-hitter should be bunting in this situation, but that is why I'm not your hitting coach and I am your broadcaster. From the stretch, come set is Paddack. Now here's the 0-1. Up and away. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the third baseline. That'll bring the count to 1-1. Runner on first, 1 out. Top of the first inning, no score. Chris Paddack on the mound for the Reds. Alec Burleson in the box. He comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hit on out there to center field. Going back is the center fielder about 5 feet in front of the track. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Herrera goes and retreats back towards first. And that is the second out of the inning for the Redbirds. So if you're just joining me here, we are at the top of the first inning. Be sure to let me know where you're watching or listening from in the chat. Now here's the cleanup man, Jordan Walker, hitting .295 with 13 home runs, 35 RBIs through 48 games this year. Righty-righty matchup. Herrera leads off first. Coming set is Paddack. He's holding, and he deals. Swinging strike on a curveball down and away to the Cardinals' big righty, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Well, if there's one guy to get the offense cranked up, it's the dude at the plate. Coming set is Paddack. Here's the 0-1. Curveball in the dirt, down and away. Blocked there by the catcher actually quite well. And that'll bring the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Long day of baseball here. Split doubleheader. Both games you can find right here on Bombers Game Mic. I'm doing the marathon today. Coming set is the righty Paddack. And he deals. And that is popped right on up in foul territory behind home plate. And it goes into the stands. And that'll bring the count to 1-2. Okay. Hey, I'm glad you like the new score ticker down there, because I know you guys have been score watching, and I wanted to get something down there that made it easier for you. Nothing but the best for the audience of Bombers Game Mic and Paul D's eyes. I don't usually talk in the third person. Time is graded by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker, and we shall await the 1-2 pitch just a little bit longer. Not exactly a Chamber of Commerce afternoon down in Cincinnati, but it's good enough to play Major League Baseball. Coming set is Paddack, the 1-2 pitch. Sweeper down and away out of the zone, 79 miles an hour, and that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on first following Ivan Herrera's 1-out single. Coming set is Paddack at the letters. He's holding and he deals. Down and away, a changeup clear out of the zone, 84 miles an hour. And the count is now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is the lefty Nolan Gorman. He's DHing today. Prieto is out there at third. Coming set is Paddack. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3 outside corner. Down looking goes Jordan Walker, and that will do it. So despite the 1-out single, Cardinals push nothing across. Going to the bottom of the first inning, it's the Redbirds nothing and the Cincinnati Reds coming to bat here on Bombers Game Mic. So, uneventful. You know, Chris Paddack does seem to be a bit sharp today. Definitely a change of pace for him. The Cardinals desperately need to get some offense going here. I know Lars Nootbaar is down at AAA Memphis at the moment, going through his rehab assignment, though I don't know that his return is necessarily imminent. Whatever the case is, he can't get back soon enough. The Redbirds really could use that. And, of course, Nate Church has gone on the shelf, I believe, for 10 days. Something to do with his knee, as I recall. So, here we are. We await the bottom of the first inning. And, of course, Andre Pallante, in this case, with the Reds at home, keep the ball in the ballpark. I mean, that sounds so much more simple than it is necessarily to execute in person, real life, on the professional level. But that's really where it's at. If you're just joining me here, let me know in the chat where you're watching or listening from. Always love to know that. Your participation in the chat makes things a great deal of fun, and especially for me. I did not see Baez getting called up, but that's actually really cool news. Now here's Pallante. I know a lot of people have been clamoring for him. Pallante, he's 4-4 with a 4.04 ERA, 19 walks against 40 strikeouts, and a whip in the low ones. Mostly four-seamer, slider, sinker, knuckle curve. Actually, a very good knuckle curve. He has a splitter and a changeup. 2 hours south of the St. Louis. Cheers. Now, from the full wind, here's the first pitch to Pallante. Downstairs for a ball, four-seam fastball, about 94 miles an hour from Pallante. And the count is 1-0 to Pallante. He is hitting .299 on the campaign. Coming set from the full wind is Pallante. Just off the plate, four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. After Pallante, we have De La Cruz, then Sal Stewart, then Nathaniel Lowe playing first base in the cleanup hole. Coming set from the full winds, Pallante. He deals. Four-seam fastball down in the dirt, down and in, 95 miles an hour. And the count is now 3 balls and no strikes. Will Pallante go into statue mode here? Hey, a listener from Texas, Lone Star State. Loving it. Now the full wind. Here's the 3-0. Strike, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, right down Broadway to the lefty Pallante. It's a righty-lefty matchup. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. From the full wind is Pallante, the 3-1. Hit down the right field line and foul on the slider down and in. Pallante was just a little too quick on it, pulled it foul. Not exactly great location down and in with that slider from Pallante. He wanted that thing going down towards Pallante's left foot, not hanging up around his knees with basically no vertical action on the pitch. Pallante, he has his sign. He's from the full wind. The 3-2 pitch. Chopped down towards second base. Weatherholt fields it on a hop. Throws to Burleson in time for the first out of the inning. So Pallante, despite getting in the hole there, came back. Got Torres out there in left. Victor Scott the second in center. Walker in right. Pareto at third. Win at short. Weatherholt at second. Burleson at first. Herrera behind the dish. And Pallante, he's on the mound for the Redbirds. That's your defensive alignment. Now here's De La Cruz, and here's the pitch. Chopped off his foot, foul on the four-seam fastball on the inner half of the plate, 96 miles an hour. Count is 0-1. Don't let this guy get on base, because when De La Cruz gets on base, it's basically a track meet where people are throwing a baseball. Coming set is Pallante. Here's the 0-1. Up and away, a splitter, nowhere near the zone, 86 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Okay. I have to take a look more at the chat in the half inning. Pallante, he has his sign. He winds the 1-1. Hit right there, right towards Win. He fields the ground ball, throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. Well, there's a landmine that has been avoided. And now, here comes the righty Stewart, who's hitting .265 this year. It's a righty-righty matchup. .265, 12 home runs, 34 RBIs, and .856 OPS through 50 games. No wonder he's hitting third in this lineup. Pallante winds and deals. Strike, slider, outside corner above the knees, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Yep, absolutely keep him off base, and thank goodness they did. Pallante, once again, he has his sign. He deals. Just missed the outside corner with that slider, 89 miles an hour. That brings the count to 1-1. One thing you got to do with this Reds team at home, they have power, and they are in a ballpark that definitely accommodates it. From the full winds, Pallante, the 1-1. Swinging strike on the sinker up and in, 96 miles an hour, sung underneath that. Almost certainly that is not where Pallante wanted to put the sinker, but he'll take it, and so will we. It's a 1-2 count to Stewart. Pallante has Stewart in the hall. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pallante, looks like he has his sign. From the full wind, the 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Down goes Stewart for the final out of the bottom of the first. We head to the top of the second inning. No score out in Cincinnati. I'm Paul D., and I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me here on this very long afternoon of Cardinals baseball with the split doubleheader. I don't just have game one. I got game two later on, but it is a split doubleheader as opposed to the classic single admission variety where, you get two for the price of one. So there's about a 3-hour break, projected between these two games. But Paul D's got both of them. So thank you so much for joining me here and keeping me company, and I'm keeping you company, and we're all having a fun time watching Redbirds baseball. Let's take a look at the chat. Yeah, Reds got plenty of power. Sal Stewart's been struggling at the plate. Well, all the same, he still has pretty good numbers so far through 2026. Keep De La Cruz off base. Truer words were never spoken. All right, let's see. Okay. A number of you have chimed in terms of where you're watching or listening from, and by all means, keep doing so. I know at this point we got some regulars in the audience. If you're a regular, absolutely let me know that you're here. Always like to know. It's been really a pleasure making so many of yours acquaintance. Gorman Wynn. Well, they're both in the lineup. I know that for sure. And they'll probably be leading off here. In fact, I know, let's put it this way. Leading off here will be, I believe, Gorman. I think Gorman is hitting fifth off the top. Yeah, it's going to be Gorman, Wynn, and then Torres, who is out and left with the injured Nate Church. We are back here for the top of the second. Here's the first pitch to Gorman. Swinging strike on a cutter on the outside corner about thigh high. And that brings the count. No balls, one strike. Gorman today, he's in the DH slot. Coming set is Paddack, the 0-1. Just off the plate, a four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count to 1-1. Gorman, 228 with 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, a 680 OPS so far this year. Now, here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and away. And that'll bring the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. That circle change that fades away goes arm side for the right-handed pitcher, and down and away to the left-handed batter, when executed properly, is a really nasty pitch. It's a 1-2 count. Paddack winds and deals. Swinging strike 3 on that very changeup for the first out of the inning. So, I think Torres got brought up with that injury to Nate Church. Don't take me to court on that, but I'm fairly sure that's the case. Now, here's the shortstop Mason Wynn's righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, outside corner, right above the knees, and the count is no balls, 1 strike. Yeah, nasty pitch. Very nasty pitch. Coming Juan's Paddack, the 0-1. Strike, cutter, outside corner, about thigh high, and Wynn is now in the hole, no balls, 2 strikes. And those alternate home uniforms for the Reds, they really pop, especially in high definition. Coming wide, here's the 0-2 pitch. Sweeper down and away out of the zone, floated over the lefty batter's box, and the count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes to St. Louis's right-hand hitting shortstop. Paddack has his sign. He winds 1-2. Swinging strike 3 on a changeup, down and away, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Paddack is looking far sharper today than he has seemingly at any point this year. Had to be today, right, folks? 2 out, nobody on. Top of the second, no score. And now here is the left fielder, Torres. First at-bat of the year. Here's the pitch. Strike. Cutter outside corner, thigh high. Brings the count to 0-1. 25 pitches so far for Paddack. I believe this is his major league debut. Now here's the 0-1. Down and away, a changeup, able to lay off that one 85 miles an hour. And of course, Torres is a lefty batter, so this is a righty-lefty matchup. Paddack comes wide, the 1-1. Up and away, four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, not particularly close to the zone, and that'll bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. He's back in the box. Paddack has his sign, and he deals. Strike, curveball outside corner, right around the knees, really on the outer third, and that'll bring the count even, 2-2. He steps out, adjusts his gloves, does a little practice swing, gets back in the box. Coming wind, here's the 2-2. Changeup in the dirt, over the plate, definitely didn't have the height. And that'll bring the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 out here in the top of the second inning. There is no score down at the Great American Ballpark. Now here's the 3-2. Check swing, did he go around? No, says Blue down the third baseline. And the Cardinals and Torres, by extension, draw a 2-out walk here in the top of the second inning. Nice way to start your Major League call-up. Trying to make it more than just a cup of coffee. If you're just joining me here, no score in the top of the second inning. Chris Paddack of the Reds has been looking rather sharp. Now here's the lefty Prieto, righty-lefty matchup. And here's the pitch. Hit on right there in the middle. De La Cruz fields it, throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. So despite the 2-out walk there by Torres, nothing across. We head to the bottom of the second inning. No score at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Paul D., and this is Bombers Game Mic. Hello from Dixon, Missouri. Cheers. Thank you for chiming in. Won't see the full broadcast. Busy push mowing 11 acres. Tough work for a senior. Well, hey, cheers to you doing the hard work. However old you are. That's something that's to be respected. And thank you so much for chiming in and joining us here when you can. I'll be here all day. Literally. All right. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, Cumin. Our former youth baseball coach, as I recall. I remember you guys. I absolutely remember, guys. You're hard to forget in the best way. So we await the bottom of the second inning. If you're just joining me, there's no score at the Great American Ballpark. And if you haven't yet chimed in the chat, let me know where you're watching or listening from. Also, give me your projection of what you expect the final line will be from Pallante, as well as Paddack here so far. What are their final lines going to be? I think we're all curious to know. I wish I knew. But I reckon we'll find out together. One of those days where you gotta cap up. You gotta cap up. So, standing by, awaiting the bottom of the second inning. And let's see who's doing it for the Reds. Lowe, Suarez, and Steer. And we are back for the bottom of the second inning. Pallante, he's out for his second frame of work here today. And he has to step off the rubber there real quick for whatever is going on at the plate. And he's back on the bump. Pallante has his sign, and here's the first pitch to Lowe. In the dirt, a knuckle curve, 78 miles per hour. Didn't have that classic knuckle curve bite, but it's only the first one. The count is 1-0. Hey, I'm happy to do it for you guys. I consider this quite important. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down and away, 94 miles an hour to the lefty hitting Lowe, who's hitting 260 on the campaign. And the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Pallante, he comes wide. Now here's the 1-1. Hit on out there to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is gone. A long solo home run by Lowe down the right field line, and easily 24 rows deep out there in the right field stands, and that will give the Reds a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. Like I said right off the top here, the one thing that he had to do in this case of Pallante, that looked like a breaking ball of some sort that just turned into a cement mixer spinner. and then basically went into orbit after that. Pallante here at Great American Ballpark, it was all about keeping the Reds in the ballpark. They're really good. Now here's the righty hitting Suarez. He's hitting .231. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the pitch. Foul tip on the slider away. That'll bring the count to 0-1. Tipped off Herrera. He definitely gets beaten up back there, but so does every other Major League catcher, to be sure. On the game Wednesday, I'll have to read that one because it's more extended. I will get back to that. Stepping back into the box is Suarez. That's a name that really rolls off the tongue. It's an 0-1 count. Pallante comes one. The pitch. Knuckle curve down and away out of the zone at 81 miles an hour. It counts 1-1. He hasn't quite gotten that sharp break on the knuckle curve so far. 18 pitches by Suarez at this point. He looks in. He winds. He deals. Just missed upstairs on the slider. 90 miles an hour, and that'll bring the count to 2-1 strike. Righty-righty matchup. Pallante looking in. He has his sign from the pitch comm. He winds the 2-1 pitch. Chopped down the third base side and out of play on a sinker down and in at 95 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count even to 2 strikes. Yeah. Fair enough. He has been... He has done well. Credit where due. Cummins sets Pallante. Now here's the 2-2 pitch. Hit to the third base side, fielded deep there by Mason Wynn. He throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. And that was actually a very impressive play. Wynn fields the ground ball well deep in the hole at short, going towards third base. He picks it up cleanly, plants himself, and he gives a good strong throw to Burleson to get Suarez by better than a step. So that'll be the first out of the inning. Now here's the righty steer hitting .273, and here's the pitch. Up and in a sinker, just missed him at 96 miles an hour, and the count is 1-0. Okay, 6 2/3 innings pitch, 6 strikeouts, 3 earned, 3 walks for Pallante. Thank you, the Firefox. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Strike, sinker on the inside corner, thigh high, and that'll bring the count 1-1 strike. I don't think that's an unreasonable line as predictions go. Now, here's the 1-1. Up and an enforcing fastball, 96 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. And the count is now 2-1 strike to Steer. He has his sign. He winds the 2-1. Foul down the first base side and out of play on a sinker, 96 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count to 2-2 strikes to the righty Steer. Yeah, you are right. The number of ground balls is very important to determine the effectiveness of Pallante. Without a doubt. Pallante, he has his sign. Now here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging, strike 3. Did he get a piece of it? Apparently so. So, close on that one. Make me look like a jerk. We do 2-2 again. I didn't think he got a piece of it. Cummins set his Pallante. He has his sign. He winds the 2-2 pitch. Fouled down the first base side and out of play on a sinker at 96 miles an hour. And the count remains 2-2 strikes. 27 pitches so far for Pallante here in this outing, having thrown 1 1/3 innings so far. He winds. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just missed up and away with that knuckle curve at 78 miles an hour. However, nobody's challenging it, and so the count advances to 3-2 strikes. Pallante once again has his sign, and the 3-2 pitch. Chopped down the third base side and foul, and we will get to do it all over again. Nobody on, 1 out. Bottom of the second inning. 1-0 following the solo jack here earlier on this half inning. Pallante now has his sign. He comes one, the 3-2 pitch. Sinker up and in, ball 4. So he issues a 1-out walk to steer. And that will put the runner on first here. I would not call Pallante super sharp here today, but them's the breaks. Now here's the righty Dunn playing right field today. He's hitting .357. No relation to Adam Dunn. I had to check that. Cummins sets Pallante. Here's the first pitch. Swinging strike on the slider, out and away, 86 miles an hour. This is, of course, a righty-righty matchup, and the count is now 0-1. Yeah, he has been working awfully hard this inning, no question. Runner leads off first. Cummins set is Pallante from the stretch. And he deals. Down and away, a slider out of the zone, 86 miles an hour. Dunn wanted nothing to do with that. And that'll bring the count to 1-1 strike. Looks awfully muggy there today. Overcast, about 70 degrees. It's good enough for baseball. Cummins set from the stretch is Pallante. Here's the pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down and away on the outside corner at the knees, 94 miles an hour, and that'll bring the count to 1-2 strikes. Double play time from your mouth to God's ears, my friend. Cummins set is Pallante at the Birds. And the 1-2. Foul down the first base side, now to play on a sinker, 95 miles an hour. And the count remains 1-2 strikes. After this, you got Stevenson, and then you have Myers. Pallante, he looks in for that sign. He comes set at the stretch at the Birds. Now here's the 1-2. Hit to the left side and through for a base hit past a diving Mason Wynn. So that'll put runners on first and second with one out here in the bottom of the second. And now here comes the catcher, Stevenson. And looking up at that thing, it looked like a breaking ball that just hung. He put the bat on it, put it right up the middle. There wasn't anything Mason Wynn could do about that one. Now here's Stevenson. He's hitting 183 on the year. He's behind the dish today for Cincinnati. 35 pitches so far for Pallante. Pallante comes set at the stretch right there at the Birds. And here's the first pitch. Strike, slider, inside corner, right above the knees. It's a righty-righty matchup, and the count is now 0-1 strike. And looking in is Pallante. He shakes him off a couple of times. He has his pitch. He comes set at the Birds. And he deals. Check swing. Did he go around? No. Slider down the way, out of the zone anyway. And the count is now 1-1. So he's really laboring his Pallante here in the bottom of the second inning. He needs to keep it right here, no doubt. Coming set is Pallante. Here's the 1-1. Up and away, a slider just missed the zone. A pretty tight strike zone all told here today on the part of Pallante. On the part of the home plate umpire, and certainly as it pertains to Pallante. There's a plenty of baseball left. You're absolutely right. Coming set is Pallante. He deals. Hit right up there and played on a hop by the second baseman. He throws the second one on the first double play. And that will end the inning. So a beautiful double play there, started by J.J. Weatherholt. Gave the shove throw to win at second. Relay to first to end the inning. And that will do it. However, solo home run. That puts the Reds up 1-0. We're going to the top of the third inning. I'm Paul D. Thank you for showing up here for this Game 1 of the split doubleheader here today as a consequence of the rainout last night. And if you're new here and you like what I do, hit like. Helps out a young, small channel grow. Tells the algorithm what it needs to know. And if it's also your first time and you like what I do, hit subscribe and the notification bell. You'll know when it's happening. And with all that in mind, this is Bomber's Game Mic. Let's go to the chat. Yeah, the double play ball is. Yes, please, share the stream with somebody you think might like it. That's a Cardinals fan, or they happen to be a Reds fans, I guess. I guess we all have our cross to bear. Am I right, folks? And also, on top of that, because I forgot to mention at the top, happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody here. It's a special time in the American life where we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to follow orders and protect our freedom from a great many who would very much choose to take it away. So do keep them in your thoughts here this weekend. Especially if you've known anybody, or you know a Gold Star family, that's kind of a big deal. All right, looks like we're getting ready for the top of the third inning. They're showing some rather gross concessions. I don't know why. That's definitely not a spread I would want anything to do with. I'd expect something better at 2 a.m. from 7-Eleven. And God help us, they're Skyline Chili. They literally have the advertisement right there on the outfield wall. Well, thank you so much, David Hodge. I do appreciate that. Thank you. All right. We head here to the top of the third inning. Victor Scott's leading off, followed by Weatherholt and Herrera. Here's the first pitch. Strike cutter outside corner at the knees to the lefty hitting Scott. And the count is no balls and one strike to Vic Scott, who's hitting 185 on the campaign this year. Here's the pitch. Change up down away, nowhere near the zone, 83 miles an hour. I'm going to bring the count to 1-1. Victor Scott has played a very solid center field defensively, very light on the bat. Here's the 1-1. Foul back and out of play on a four-seam fastball up and in at 91 miles an hour. And the count is 1-2. And Chris Paddack, he has played for a good many teams in his, fairly decent length major league career. Now here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul back behind the plate and out of play. Once again, that four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. And that keeps the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the third inning, 1-0 Reds down at Great American Ballpark. Game 1 of 2 of a split doubleheader. Here's the pitch. Curveball in the dirt, nowhere near the zone, basically bounces right in front of home plate. And that'll bring the count to 2-2. Out of curiosity, has anybody seen a game at Great American Ballpark yourself? I have, but I'm curious if anybody else has. Come and wind. Here's the 2-2. Curveball in the dirt, 79 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count full to 3-2. I'm kind of a ballpark guy. I have a bucket list. I'm trying to get them all off that bucket list. Okay. You have been. Interesting. Now here's 3-2. Foul back behind the plate and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. And Manuel McMenemy, assuming you're a Cardinals fan, did you wear the Cardinals? Did you wear Cardinals paraphernalia into the den of the enemy? Here's the pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the four-seam fastball up and away to Victor Scott. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Right. Oh, there. There we go. Now here's J.J. Weatherholt. This is his second at-bat for the day. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. Cummins sets Paddack. The first pitch. Just missed the outside corner with a curveball at 78 miles an hour. And the count is now 1 ball and no strikes to J.J. Weatherholt. And as I was talking about earlier, man, for a rookie, he looks like he's been there for years. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play. Lost his balance there and lost his helmet temporarily. Basically swinging out of his shoes on that one. Counts 1-1. 41 pitches so far in 2 1/3 innings for Paddack here in game 1. Now here's the 1-1 pitch. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the third baseline, and that'll bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Okay, you're a Reds fan. Well, that would make sense that you have seen a game there. and you wouldn't be wearing Cardinal colors. Now here's the 2-1. Inside a cutter, well off the plate. And that'll bring the count to 3-1. Heard Great American Ballpark is a fun park, hitter's paradise. Both of those things are absolutely true. Now here's the 3-1 pitch. Just missed the inside corner, and that'll be ball 4. So a 1-out walk here by J.J. Weatherall. And that'll bring up the righty hitting catcher for today, Ivan Herrera. Fair enough. And boy, has he been a replacement. Ivan Herrera, 1-for-1 with a single, all the way back in the first. From the stretch is Paddack. The runner leads off first. Here's the first pitch. Up and in, a sinker, 93 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count to 1 ball and no strikes to the Cardinal righty hitting catcher. JJ, he leads off first with a decent lead. Coming set from the stretch is Paddack. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Down and in, a changeup out of the zone, 84 miles an hour in the righty-righty matchup. And that'll bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Runner leads off first, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. It's a 2-0 count, 1-0 Cincinnati in the top of 3. Here's the pitch. Cutter strike, inside corner, right at the knees. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera, who has actually been hitting very respectably. He's having quite a stretch here. Leading off first is JJ. Coming set at the stretch is Paddack. He deals. Down and away, a changeup, 86 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. And that'll bring the count to 3-1. Now, he has actually been, despite some of the recent offensive woes of the Cardinals, one of the real bright spots in this lineup. Coming set is Paddack. He holds. And here's the 3-1. Up and in, ball 4. That was a sinker. So now the Cardinals have runners on first and second with 1 out. And here comes the big lefty hitting first baseman, Alec Burleson. He has 2 ducks on the pond here today. Yeah, you do have to make them pay with these walks. And that's something that the Cardinals actually do when they're right. You know, when they're not facing, for example, Ashcraft yesterday afternoon, who was a machine. Holy hell. That was hard to, well, it was Thursday afternoon. He was a real machine. But when they're going well, they really do a good job at grinding out at-bats, getting to full counts, taking walks. That's what you want out of a lineup, especially a lineup like this. Now, here comes Alec Burleson. He's 0-for-1 today. Runners lead off first and second with 1 out. Top of the 3rd inning, a 1-0 Cincinnati. The righty Paddack comes set, so righty-lefty matchup. And he deals. Hit to the right side and foul, and just foul. It was a changeup over the plate. Definitely did not have the location that Paddack was envisioning. And that was the 50th pitch here for Paddack in 2 1/3 inning of work. And Burleson, he steps back in the box. Runners lead off first and second. Jordan Walker is on deck. Coming set from the stretch is Paddack. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate, a changeup. Not nearly catching the plate. And the count is now a 1-1 to Alec Burleson, who no doubt is looking for something to drive. And this season, he's in .339 with runners in scoring position. Not bad. Here's the 1-1. Hit on up there in the middle and booted by De La Cruz, and it goes into center field for a base hit. Coming home is J.J. Weatherall. He will score, and that'll make it a 1-1 game. Well, rather, I should say, that will make it a 1-1 game. They tie it up on the RBI single from Alec Burleson. And that will put runners on first and third with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Yeah, so excited. You got both You got both of the sound effects going that I use. I think we'll take it right now. Runners at first and third, one out. It's a 1-1 game. Here's the first pitch to Walker. Sweeper outside, just missed the plate, about belt high, and that'll bring the count to 1-0. Jordan Walker, he's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. He did not look good in his first at-bat against Paddack. No doubt is looking to turn it around here. Runners lead off first and third. From the stretches, Paddack, he deals. Swinging strike on a four-seam fastball down and in at 92 miles an hour, and that'll bring the count to 1-1 strike to the righty cleanup hitter. The righty cleanup hitter for St. Louis here in game one. Coming set is Paddack at the letters. Here's the 1-1. Foul down the first base side, now to play on a four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. And that will bring the count to 1-2 strikes. Yes, absolutely. They need to keep passing the baton. Pass the baton. That's where it's at. Runners at first and third. We're all tied at 1 following that RBI single by Burleson. And time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker. And so we'll wait a little longer for this 1-2 pitch. If you're just joining us here, solo home run for the Reds in the bottom of the second. Now it's tied up by the Cardinals here in the top of the third. Here's a pitch. Chopped down towards short, fielded by De La Cruz. He throws the second one on to first. No play. And the run will score from third, making it a 2-1 Cardinal lead. Oh, yeah. There we go. A 2-1 Cardinal lead. However, that is the second out of the inning. So a productive out by Walker, finding ways to get runs across. And now here's the lefty hitting Nolan Gorman, who's 0 for 1. Oh, Jordan Walker, the way he's going, will definitely be starting the All-Star game for the National League. Like I said, if he keeps doing what he's done so far this year, he will be a legit MVP candidate. Runner on third, 2 out, 2 already in for the Cardinals. Here's the pitch. Just off the plate, a changeup, 84 miles an hour to the lefty, Gorman, and that'll bring the count to 1-0 strikes. Nolan Gorman, he does have pop in that bat. We've seen it before. Coming set is Paddack from the letters. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike, four-seam fastball outside corner, 92 miles an hour from the Reds righty, and that'll bring the count to 1-1. So the Cardinals have 2 in here in the top of the third. Putting something here together offensively. Coming set at the letters is Paddack. Here's the 1-1. Hit down the third baseline, giving chases the left fielder near the line. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning, but not before the Redbirds put up 2. We head to the bottom of the third inning. It's 2-1 Redbirds. I'm Paul D. If you like the stream and you're enjoying what you're seeing, please leave a like. Really helps this small and young channel grow. And I sure as hell appreciate it. And if it's your first time you like what you see, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. I do most games, and I am doing both today, folks. This is going to be a very full day of baseball here at Bombers Game Mic. And with that in mind, you are watching and listening to Bombers Game Mic. Let's go to the chat. Let's go Cards, let's go Cards. Woo! A little Ric Flair action there. Okay. Yeah, so getting back earlier on, Walker will make the All-Star game. When it's, I think if the radio's going, he'll be starting it in right field for the National League. And like I said, he has been putting up an incredible season. I remember I was watching a video that was done right before Cardinal spring training began. So like early to mid-February. And they were talking about prospects that hadn't panned out and weren't panning out, and one of them they mentioned is Jordan Walker. And boy, talk about talking too soon. Seriously. How's the game looking? What are the vibes? The vibes right now are very positive. Definitely offensively, and hopefully Pallante can keep that ball down and keep the double plays coming. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. We head to the bottom of the third, and Andre Pallante, he's out there for his third frame of work this afternoon. 2-2-0 Cardinals, 1-2-0 Reds. Out at Great American Ballpark. From Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining a broadcast from America's Heartland. LA, I was there a little over a year ago. Had a good time. All right. Here we go, starting off here in the bottom of the third inning. It's the center fielder, the right-handed hitting Myers. Now here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball outside corner above the knees, and that'll bring the count to 0-1. Myers, the righty, he's hitting .243 on this campaign. That was the 40th pitch so far for Pallante. He has his sign, and he winds the 0-1. Upstairs, a sinker, 95 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. Dane Myers, .243, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs through 41 games. He has a .749 OPS. Pallante is from the full wind, and the 1-1 pitch. Fouled straight back on a sinker. Up and in, and the count is now 1-2 strikes. Make sure we are not bothered, y'all. That would be annoying. Coming set is Pallante. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit down the first base side and out of play. That thing was a knuckle curve down in the way, probably the best one he's thrown so far. So here's a somewhat pointless question, but I got to ask. How's the weather in Los Angeles today? Pallante has his side. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul down the first base side and out of play. On a sinker, 96 miles an hour. Count remains 1-2. Baseball fans around the league are taking their shirts off now. Yeah, they definitely are. Why don't they come up with their own rally hype? Hey, all I can say is that mimicry is the best form of flattery. Here's a pitch. Hit right there, picked up by Herrera. It's picked up in foul territory, but it's definitely ruled a foul ball. And there's Tito Francona. He's in his 25th year managing at the moment. And even though I am also a Yankees fan, and he was managing the 2004 Red Sox, I have nothing but affection for Tito Francona. He's just a really good dude, great baseball guy. He's one of those guys that if you ran into him in the parking lot after the game, he would not ignore you. Now, here's the 1-2 pitch. Just off the plate, a slider. It was around the knees, but just missed. And that'll bring the count to 2-2. Watching from Cleveland, Ohio. Cheers. Cheers to the city by the lake. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there to shallow right field. Charging in is Walker. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Okay. His pitch count last I checked was I think he's in the high 50s now, is Pallante. Pretty gloomy, but it's LA. Can't argue with that. Let's see here. All right. Now, here's Blady for his second at-bat, and here's the pitch. Strike, knuckle curve right down Broadway, 77 miles per hour. From Pallante, the count is 0-1. And Cummins wide is Pallante, the 0-1 pitch. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, says Blue down the third baseline on the splitter, down and away. And Blady, he's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out. 2-1 Redbirds after a big top of the third. It's a righty-lefty matchup to the lefty Blady. Here's the 0-2. Knuckle curve down and away and in the dirt. 78 miles an hour. That brings the count to 1-2. A chemical plant. Where is that located? That's something I'm curious about. Now here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off his foot on the four-seam fastball on the inside corner. And the count remains 1-2. Yeah, where is this chemical plant explosion / exposure actually happening? Let me know, guys. I want to know this. Pallante comes one, and here's the 1-2 pitch. Just missed the outside corner on a sinker. Missed the plate, had the height. And the count is now 2-2 strikes. Oh, near LA. Understood. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's something, keep them in your thoughts. Here's a 2-2. Chopped down the right field side. Fielded there in a couple hops by Weatherhull. He throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. So Pallante, he's gotten the ground ball on that one. That's what we all want to see. Well, if you do get superpowers, I hope they're cool ones. I hope it's not like something ridiculous that would otherwise be useless. I mean, if you're going to have to be exposed, make them good. Now, here's De La Cruz for his second at-bat, and here's the first pitch. Check swing. Did he go around on the splitter that clearly got away? What's the call, folks? What's the call? Not even the production knows what the call is. Because we're all waiting on them, really. They're the ones that are supposed to know. All right, it's ruled a ball. And De La Cruz apparently checked his swing on that thing, but honestly, I think he swung on that. I don't know why they didn't go down towards third for the appeal. However, the ball did ricochet off the home plate umpire, so they're taking a little time. They're bringing over the Reds training staff, make sure he isn't concussed or something. Good God. If your superpower turns out to be a 105 fastball, we have a contract ready for you. Fair enough. And speaking of triple-digit pitches, I was looking at the schedule last night and projecting out, and Memorial Day observed on Monday when the Cardinals are in Milwaukee. It's a day game. I think they're getting Jacob Misiorowski. So I've seen him pitch. I even called a game earlier this year when he was pitching against the Yankees. That dude is nasty. He is so nasty. He's got the, has like dead shark eyes. His expression goes blank, despite the fact that he looks like a high school senior that just went to his senior prom. If you put a cheap rental tux on him, you wouldn't know the difference between him and a high school senior at their prom. Time is resumed. Home plate umpire seems to be fine, and it is actually an 0-1 count to De La Cruz. He definitely did swing. Now here's the 0-1 pitch. Inside, four-seam fastball for a ball, 97 miles an hour, and that'll bring the count to 1-1. Yeah, I know. Cardinals have had great fortune against Skeens, but still, here's the 1-1. Chop foul down the third base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball. The count is 1-2. Every once in a while, though, hey, has the outcome been great against Skeens? Yes, but hey, I know what's coming in this next series, and it will be a challenge in all likelihood. Now here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's hit right there and picked up on a line for the second out inning by Mason Wynn. In fact, that is the third out of the inning. So 1, 2, 3, go the Reds. We head to the top of the fourth inning. It's 2-1 Cardinals. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mic. All right, so Pallante looking pretty sharp there in that bottom frame of the third. I think that is something to be well pleased about as Cardinal fans. And yeah, geez, chemical exposure in Southern California, Jesus. Oof. Yeah, seriously, prayers indeed. Prayers indeed. Well, in any case, a little distraction does baseball prove to be at certain times, and we're very thankful to have it. Whatever the case is, we're heading to the top of the fourth inning. Mason Wynn is leading off, followed by Torres, and then the third baseman, Prieto, with the 8-hitter here today. I think he was the 2025 NL Cy Young Award winner. I think he was. And then in the AL, you have Tarek Skubal, who's going to be back a lot sooner than we thought. Apparently, he had an experimental scope surgery to get rid of the loose bodies in his left throwing arm. And if you want to know apparently what loose bodies sounds like, what it's like to experience it, I was doing a little research. It's like having, wherever it is, it's like having a pebble in your shoe that you can't remove. After that, it took me several minutes to get that out of my mind. Here we go for the top of the fourth inning. Mason Wynn, he's come up for his second at-bat today, and here's the pitch. And he pops it up behind the plate and out of play. And the count is no balls, 1 strike. Good evening, Mr. Paul D. It is my friend from Uganda. Welcome to the game. Welcome to the stream. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on a curveball down and away. Swung right over the top of that one. Did win. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the fourth inning. 2-1 Redbirds. Cardinal offense showing some life. Now here's the 0-2 pitch. Hit to left field and in for a base hit. Fielded on a couple of hops there as the left fielder. He throws it back into the cutoff man. And that is a long leadoff single by Mason Wynn here in the top of the fourth inning. And that was the 62nd pitch today by Paddack in 3+ innings of work. Now, here's the second at-bat for Torres, the left-hander. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Coming set from the stretch is Paddack. He's holding and deals. Up and away, a cutter out of the zone. 84 miles an hour. The count is 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, that's gross. Skyline chili, of course. Coming set. Here's the pitch. Just off the plate, a four-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour. The count's 2-0. Yeah, that's right. He is a 28-year-old rookie. I was reading about his history, and the Cardinals found him playing independent ball in the Atlantic League, as I recall. Coming set is Paddack. Here's the 2-0. Strike, four-seam fastball, outside corner, thigh high, and that'll bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. So this is a pretty special day for Torres here. Talk about, paying your dues. My goodness, finding yourself out in the Atlantic League. Here's a 2-1. Hit to the right side and over the second baseman's head for a base hit. Heading on over and apparently holding at second is Mason Wynn. And now the Cardinals have runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the fourth inning. He spent 11 years in the minors and independents. Yeah. And that's his first major league hit. So somebody's going to be tossing the ball back into the Cardinal dugout. That's a special memento. Now here's the first pitch, Prieto. Curveball in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. And do the runners move? It does not appear so. And the count is now 1 ball and no strikes to the lefty hitting Prieto. It is a righty-lefty matchup. Runners on first and second, nobody out, so 1-0 count, top of the fourth inning, 2-1 Cards. Coming set is Paddack. And he deals. Foul back behind the plate and out of play on a four-seam fastball up and away at 92 miles an hour. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, there's the possibility for a monster inning here. Yeah. 511 games in the minor leagues for Torres. Here's the pitch. Showing bunt, missing it on the changeup down and away, so that's a strike. And the count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes to Prieto. It was basically a changeup down and in. Pareto showed bunt, which was not a bad idea. He simply missed the thing, and it's a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coming set is Paddack. He throws down to second. Back in time is Mason Wynn. Applying the tag there was De La Cruz, a name that just rolls right off the tongue. I love it. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Top of the 4th inning. Coming set is Paddack from the stretch. And here's the 1-2. Swinging strike 3 on a changeup, down and away. And that'll be the second out of the inning. So Pareto can't move the runners along. And yeah, he definitely does make a living on that changeup. He'll live and die by it. I mean, it's easy for me to say in hindsight whether they should have run or not. But I try not to second guess these things, especially when something like that. Now here's Victor Scott, his second at bat. He's 0 for 1. Foul back on a 4-seam fastball up and away, 92 miles an hour. It counted as 0-1. Good old Vic Scott. Not much with the bat, but he does play a pretty solidly defensive center field. Coming set is Paddack. He's holding and looking back towards second. And here's the 0-1. Hit down the third base side and out of play on a 4-seam fastball that was out over the plate to the lefty Vic Scott. And the count is now 0-2. And if you're just joining us here, it's 2-1 Cardinals in the top of the 4th inning. Top of the 3rd, they managed to put up a 2-spot, which has since given them the lead. Coming set from the stretch is Paddack. Here's the 0-2. Hit to the right side and over the second baseman's head for a base hit. And there's a throw home, and it will be the bases loaded with 2 out. It was picked up too shallow out there and right for Mason Wynn to reliably come home. And now the bases are loaded with 2 out. So some very conservative base running there on the part of the third base coach and Mason Wynn. But the truth of the matter is, the right fielder, he picked it up very quickly, put in a very good throw to the cutoff man in the center of the diamond. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out. And here's J.J. Weatherall. Here's the pitch. Hit to the right side and through for a base hit. Going after is the second baseman. 1 run will score. There is a throw in home towards the plate, and that will make it a 3-1 Cardinal lead. Oh, what a timely hit here by J.J. Weatherall. And the bases remain loaded here with 1 out, and it is a 3-1 Cardinal lead. Oh, J.J. Weatherall. He was not waiting for anything. He found his pitch. It just got over the head of the first baseman there on the leap, and the run came right on in easily. And now here is Ivan Herrera, who's been tearing it up recently. Bases loaded, 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 3-1 Redbirds. And there is a conference on the mound with the pitching coach and a powwow that all of the infield has joined in on. So, we wait for play to resume. A tater would be nice. Get out the old rye bread and mustard. Grandma, it's grand salami time. A classic call. I wish I came up with it. Obviously, I did not. That thing was fresh 30 years ago. Bases loaded, 1 out. Ivan Herrera, who's 1 for 1 already today. It's his 3rd at bat. Here's the first pitch. Chopped right up the middle towards the pitcher. He throws home for 1, throws on to first, and that's a double play. A rare 1-2-3 double play, and that will do it. However, the Cardinals, they tack on 1 more. It's 3-1 Redbirds heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Get it together, Paul. Bottom of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D, and thank you all so much for joining me here in Game 1 of this split doubleheader. And it looks like the Redbirds offense is starting to churn again. Not a moment too soon. If you like what you see, you're enjoying the call, please leave a like. Helps a young and small channel out immensely. And if you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. I'm doing both ends of the doubleheader here today. And with that in mind, this is Bombers Game Mic. Let us go to the chat. All right. Well, thank you, Missouri Gaming. Cheers. Thank you. Young channel, small channel, you got to do a bit of self-promotion. I don't enjoy that aspect very much, but I understand it's part of the gig. Yeah, stop them there, get some more runs, all about that. All right. Well, in any case, right now, as I was saying earlier, just J.J. Weatherholt. It looks like he's in his third year. I mean, how easily has this guy slipped in to Major League Baseball and made it look like he's been there forever? That's a really special thing. Not a lot of rookies are able to come in and do such a smooth job. I understand that as a hitter, it's his first time through the major leagues in terms of getting first looks. And that second time around will unlikely be a bit harsher to him, and adjustments will need to be made. But all the same, you can't take it away from him. He's been awesome. Yeah, he's definitely top 3 rookie of the year, especially so far. All right, we are here for the bottom of the 4th inning, and Andre Pallante is out for his 4th frame of work. And here's the righty, Stewart. He's 0 for 1 today. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike, four-seam fastball outside quarter thigh high, 95 miles an hour. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Coming set is Pallante. He's from the full wind. Here's the 0-1. Foul down the first base side and out of play on a slider down and away, 90 miles an hour. And that'll put Pallante ahead in this at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. And he's got to keep that ball down. Make sure that knuckle curve bites. And things will look better than not. Now here's the 0-2 pitch. It is a fly ball to right center field. Underneath it is Victor Scott. He squeezes it for the first out of the inning. So Stewart is down on the fly ball. He can score that 8 in your scorecard for you amazing baseball nerds that are in the audience today. And they're showing Lowe's solo home run from back in the 2nd. Now here's the first pitch to Lowe. Strike, four-seam fastball inside corner, little under the belt. And the count is 0-1 to Lowe. Pallante, he already has his sign. He's moving quick. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Up and in, four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, not particularly close to the zone. It was about helmet high. And the count is 1-1. If you're just joining us here, it's 3-1 Redbirds, bottom of the 4th inning. Coming set is Pallante, and he deals. Chopped down toward the shortstop, Mason Wynn fields it on a pair of hops, throws to first in time for the 2nd out of the inning. So right now, Pallante's getting his ground ball on. Exactly what we want to see. Mortal Kombat indeed. Man, I remember playing the original Mortal Kombat 2, in the arcade. And everybody was just swarmed in around it. It was ridiculous. Now, here's the first pitch to Suarez. Knuckle curve down and away and out of the zone to the righty Suarez. Counts 1-0. Nobody on, 2 out. Bottom of the 4th inning. 3-1 Redbirds out at the Great American Ballpark in Game 1 of this split doubleheader. Coming winds, Pallante. Here's the 1-0. Hit out to right field. Right there, a few steps to his right, is Jordan Walker. He makes the catch for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Reds, and we go to the top of the 5th inning. It is 3-1 Redbirds out in Cincinnati. I'm your broadcaster, Paul D. thank you all so much for joining me here this afternoon for the call of Game 1 of 2 of this split doubleheader out in Cincinnati. So good to have you all here. And if you're new, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Make yourself known in the chat. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. I love that kind of thing. And with that in mind, you are watching and listening to Bombers Game Mic. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Low pitch inning. Yeah, that is a huge deal. For longevity. Make sure that Ali Marmol doesn't have to go into that bullpen prematurely. And yeah, I do love to see that. But, speaking of Mortal Kombat, you're mentioning Sub-Zero. That Sub-Zero was always Bombers Game Mic on top. Thanks to you, my friend. Thanks to you. No, Sub-Zero used to be my guy. I mean, he was always the one. Even though I'd still remember the Liu Kang dragon fatality from Mortal Kombat 2, the combination for it, where he turns into the dragon, bites off the top head of his opponent. At least on Sega, down, forward, back, high kick. If you're of a certain age, you know exactly what I was just referencing. So we await the top of the 5th inning. It is 3-1 Redbirds. Who do they got due up here? Burleson, Walker, and Gorman. Well, I'd buy that for $1. So also, Kyle Leahy will be starting the second game, and he'll be facing Chase Petty. And then tomorrow, Libertor versus Singer. That'll be fun. Now here's first pitch of Burleson. Hit to the right side and through the hole for a base hit. So a quick leadoff single with nobody out here in the top of the 5th by Alec Burleson. He's getting it started off again for the Redbirds. And Ali Marmol, despite usually being rather expressionless, has at least a shadow of a smile on his face watching that leadoff single. Now here's Jordan Walker, 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and he grounded into a fielder's choice. Runner on first, nobody out. Here's the pitch. A ball down and away on a slider. Correction, a sweeper, 78 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Jordan Walker, he's like a ninja. He just strikes out of nowhere, man. Common set is Paddack at the letters. Here's the pitch. And it is a fly ball to shallow center field. Underneath it is the second baseman calling for it. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. A little disappointed with that one, but that's all right. Interesting. I haven't picked up Mortal Kombat in quite some time. Now here's Nolan Gorman, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Burleson, he leads off first. 1 out in the top of the 5th, 3-1 Cards. Here's the pitch. It's a foul ball down the third base side. Underneath it is the third baseman, and he makes the catch in foul territory for the second out of the inning. So 1 pitch, 1 out there to Nolan Gorman, and that'll be 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Alec Burleson is still on first. And we await the next at-bat. By way of Mason Wynn, the shortstop. He is 1 for 2 today. Runner on first, 2 out. 3-1 Cardinals, top of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Curveball down in the dirt. 77 miles an hour. And the count is 1-0. He's 1 for 2 today as Mason Wynn, a single and a run scored. Common set is Paddack at the letters from the stretch. Righty-righty matchup. And he deals. Up and in, four-seam fastball out of the zone, 92 miles an hour. And that'll bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes. And Mason Wynn, I gotta say, I've been very impressed with his defense. Very steady hand out there. Not all world, but very good. Coming set is Paddack, and here's the pitch. Strike, cut around the outer third, knee high, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Oh yeah, they play 2 games in a day. In fact, for many years, every Sunday was a doubleheader. Coming set at the letters is Paddack, and here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball outside corner. Swung right underneath that one. Did Mason win? And the count is 2-2. The reason they're playing a doubleheader today is because the game last night got rained out, and they needed to make it up, and so they're playing 2 today. It worked out scheduling-wise that way. Runner on first, 2 outs, a 2-2 count to the righty hitting shortstop, and Paddack deals. Fouled down the first baseline. Gibbon chases the right fielder near the stands. He's underneath, and he makes the catch in foul territory for the final out of the inning. So despite the leadoff single by Alec Burleson, Cardinals did nothing with it. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning out at Great American Ballpark. I'm Paul D. Thank you all so much for joining me here this afternoon for the first game of this double dip. And you are watching or listening to Bombers Game Mike. Oh, yeah, you're quite welcome. See, it's interesting now that we're looking at, for example, Memorial Day. Obviously, next is going to come the 4th of July. And, of course, Labor Day. And I've always been of the belief, though there's no way they would do it, despite how much I would love it, is if every team on Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Labor Day held a single admission, 2 for the price of 1 doubleheader. I just think that'd be something that'd be good for the game. I'm pretty sure that's something that would have to be collectively bargained, and at the moment, that's definitely not the highest priority when it comes to collective bargaining between the owners and the players' union. But we're not going to get into that discussion right now, because those are future events that, quite frankly, at the moment, I don't really want to think about. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool? It would lose money because all 3 of those days are basically guaranteed to sell about 80% capacity, even for a mediocre team. But it would be nice. Hell, it would be nice if Redbirds fans could more easily watch just any regular game during the year without needing 4 different subscriptions to do it. I mean, that's a really big reason that I've begun doing this, is because I do have access to the game. A lot of people don't. And quite frankly, given the way things are set up, I don't necessarily think Major League Baseball should be rewarded with this business model. If I'm a little bit bitter, you're right. Here's the first pitch. Slider out, down, and away to the righty steer. He walked earlier. The count is 1-0. Yeah, it really is. The TV contract is a mess this year. Coming set is Pallante. Here's the 1-0. Swinging strike on the slider, down and in. It's a righty-righty matchup to the righty steer. And the count is now a 1-1. Because, if they want to grow the game, this situation that we're experiencing cannot persist. Here's the pitch. Knuckle curve strike right down Broadway, 78 miles an hour. Not huge break on that one. That was definitely not the best knuckle curve he's ever thrown. But we'll take it. The count is now 1-2 to the righty steer. Pallante, he's looking, and he has his sign. He winds the 1-2 pitch. Slider for a ball down and away, just missed low. And the count is now 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 2-2 count. 3-1 Redbirds. Here's the pitch. Hit on up in foul territory, just foul of the first base bag. And he makes the catch right over and into the stands. Burleson, he reaches long over the fence there in foul territory next to the dugout for the first out of the inning. So credit to Burleson there, tracking that thing down, going all the way to the wall in foul territory next to the home dugout, giving the full reach, and then pow, first out of the inning. Great play. Yes, absolutely a great play. So nobody on, nobody out. Showing bunt is done. He pulls back. It's a knuckle curve out of the zone. Counts 1-0. Yeah, Dunn initially showed bunt on that one, pulled back, and then the pitch was called a ball. Them's the breaks. Nobody on, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Cardinals. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swinging strike on a slider right down Broadway. Slung right over the top of that one, did Dunn, and that brings the count to 1-1. Yeah, Bally Sports. Yeah, and that has hurt a lot of teams, what happened with the collapse of Bally. Now, here's the 1-1 pitch. Strike, sinker right down Broadway, 96 miles an hour. And the count is now 1-2 strikes to done. Current Cardinal pitcher is Andre Pallante. Nobody on, 1 out. It's a 1-2 count to done. Pallante deals a 1-2. Foul down the first base side and out of play on a sinker up and in, 96 miles an hour. And the count remains 1-2 strikes. Pallante looking to settle down here in this start this afternoon. Now, here's the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, a knuckle curve bounced out in front of the plate. Now I'll bring the count even 2-2. So Pallante, when he's able to actually really, get off that knuckle curve, when it works, it's filthy. It's just simply not consistent. Pallante, he has his sign, and he deals. Check swing, did he go around? Yes, he did for the second out of the inning. Strikeout, swinging, down goes done. And that'll be 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And yeah, let's put it this way. That check swing was not even so much a check swing. Had he made contact with it, as the old saying goes, it would have been a double. Now, here's the catcher, the righty hitting Stevenson. 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. Now, here's the first pitch from Pallante. Foul back and out of play on a 4-seam fastball in the outer third thigh high, 95 miles an hour. And the count is 0-1. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out into a double play. He's hitting 182 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. Pallante winds and deals. Up and in a sinker, 96 miles an hour. Not particularly close to the zone. That'll bring the count to 1-1. Pallante has thrown 78 pitches through 4 2/3 innings of work here this afternoon. Now, here's the 1-1 pitch. Up and in a sinker, an identical pitch to the previous one, except it's 97 miles an hour. And the count is now 2-1 strike to the righty hitting Stevenson. Coming winds Pallante. Here's a 2-1. Just missed low on a slider. Able to check his swing is Stevenson. And that brings the count to 3-1 strike. That was the 80th pitch this afternoon for Pallante. Now here's the 3-1 pitch. Swinging strike, and that'll be strike 2 to the righty Stevenson. Yeah, I was even anxious on that one to punch him out. That's why you got to keep it in your chamber till it's time. Now here's the 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Down goes Stevenson for the 3rd out of the inning. It was a called strike 3, and we head to the top of the 6th inning down at Great American Ballpark. It's 3-1 Cardinals over the Reds. I'm Paul D. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. If you know somebody who would enjoy the stream, they don't have access to the game themselves, and you think they'd like it, share it. Who knows? They might dig it. And with that in mind, you are watching or listening to Bombers Game Mic. I love you, Pallante. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, Pallante has definitely done his job for the most part so far. Now, let's see what's happening in any action around the league. I know I have the score ticker there, but I can give it to you a bit more. So, the Rays and Yankees, they were postponed. And the Astros are over the Cubs right now, 2-0 in the top of the 2nd. Pirates and Blue Jays to start. Guardians, Phillies to start. Yep, pretty much the Cardinals at the moment, along with the Astros and Cubs, are the only action in Major League Baseball at present. Everything else happens later. Now, due up here in the top of the 6th inning, you got the left fielder Torres, followed by the third baseman Prieto, and then the 9-hitter, the center fielder Victor Scott II. And we have ourselves a pitching change. The lefty Sam Mole through 23 games, 21 innings pitched, an ERA of 3 exactly, a whip of 1.19, 8.57 strikeouts per 9, and a ground ball rate of 58.9%. So clearly he's going after the lefties here, starting with Torres, then Prieto, and then I believe, and then Vic Scott. Yeah, seriously, cheering on the Astros here this afternoon. Brian Torres, he's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. Very fine Major League debut for the 28-year-old rookie. It's a lefty-lefty matchup with the lefty Mole on the mound. Here's the pitch. Inside a sinker, 92 miles per hour, clear out of the zone. And the count is 1-0. Coming set from the stretch is Maul. Here's 1-0 pitch. Chopped to the right side, fielded there by the first baseman, takes it to the bag himself for the first out of the inning. So, hey, so far, Torres is the 28-year-old rookie making his Major League debut. Has done rather well, I think, for a call-up like that. And think about how big of a day it is for a guy that's a 28-year-old rookie finally making his Major League debut. The odds were totally against him, but he's here. Now, here's the lefty Prieto. He's 0 for 2 today against the lefty Maul. Maul comes set at the belt. And here's the first pitch. Down and away, a sinker well out of the zone at 92 miles an hour. Dublin. I take it Dublin, Ireland. Cheers, my friend. Thank you for joining the stream. I hope you enjoy it. Make yourself known in the chat. Now, here's the 1-0 pitch. Chopped to the first base side, fielded there by the second baseman on a pair of hops. Throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. So a couple of quick outs here by the Redbirds to start off the top of the 6th. Yes. Dennis Rich, 6029. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I always so enjoy it when everybody here lets me know where they're watching or listening from. It's a real pleasure. Now here's Victor Scott with the bases empty and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Strike, sweeper, inside corner above the knees, and the count is 0-1. That was actually a rather nasty pitch the way it broke. Coming set is Maul at the belt. And here's the 0-1. Inside, wild pitch. Gets well past the catcher. Jackknifing out of the way is Victor Scott. And they're showing that amazing replay of Jim Edmonds like 20 years ago, stealing that home run right here at the Great American Ballpark. I mean, that thing has entered highlight reels for every half inning, for every major league stadium for the last 2+ decades, simply because of how amazing it really was. Well, that was Jim Ed out there in center field. Boy, was he fun to watch. Coming set is Maul. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Now, here's the 1-1 pitch. Showing bunt is Victor Scott, and he runs you right down. It is fielded, and there is no throw. He absolutely put the bunt down perfectly, had kind of like a slight bunny hop to it, fell dead on the grass, and by the time Maul came over and fielded the thing, Victor Scott was well past first. So a 2-out bunt single by Victor Scott here in the top of the 6th inning to keep things alive. And now here is J.J. Weatherholt for his 4th at-bat of the afternoon. Once again, a lefty-lefty matchup. Scott leads off first. And throwing over to first back in time with the head-first slide is Vic Scott. Listening from Central Arkansas. Welcome aboard, Central Arkansas. You have entered the chat. Coming set is Maul. Runner leads off first. Here's first pitch. There goes Scott. Here's the throw down to second, and it is thrown into center field. And is he going around? And he goes into third. safe. He is safe on the throw with the head first slide, and so he will not just steal second, but he will take third on the play. Oh, boy. Now that is something. The throw was well over De La Cruz's head. The center fielder comes up, puts in a pretty good throw, but the fact of the matter is Victor Scott was just well too ahead of him. Excellent, very skillful head first slide there by Victor Scott. And that will put a runner on third with 2 out, and the pitch was indeed ruled a ball, so it's 1-0 here to J.J. Weatherholt. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside a sweeper off the plate, and that'll bring the count to 2-0. Yeah, that was definitely a blooper reel throw there by Stevenson. Coming set is Maul at the belt, and here's the 2-0 pitch. Hit on up into center field, going back to the center fielder. He's at the track in front of the wall, and he makes the catch in deep left center field. And that will do it. So despite the incredible base running of Victor Scott, and unfortunately J.J. Weatherholt hitting it just to the wrong part of the ballpark, that'll do it for the Redbirds in the top of the 6th inning. We go to bottom of 6 at the Great American Ballpark. It's 3-1 Cardinals. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mic. All right. All right. Zodiac 3737. Are you indeed a Reds fan? Because so far, based on your comments, if you are, that's cool. Everybody's welcome here. But I'm just looking for a little clarity. Pennsylvania entering the chat. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you for making yourself known. Yes, glad to see the stream. Go Cards. Absolutely. I will be here for both billings of this doubleheader this afternoon and into this evening. Then I have to find something to do with my, projected 3 hours between games. I'll find something to keep me busy. Okay, good. I'm just making sure. You believe Cardinal Red? I respect that. Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. I want to make sure I understood the situation correctly. But like I said, everybody's welcome here. So long as they're friendly and respectful and not profane, you are always welcome at Bombers Game Mic. Even Red Sox fans. I'm charitable on occasion. Pallante, he's gone 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Paddack, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned. All right. Now here is the righty hitting center fielder Myers leading it off. And here's a pitch. Chopped on to the left field side, fielded there by the third baseman Pareto. He throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. A really nice play there by Pareto. He had to charge in on the grass. He manages to get the ball on a hop, and then with his momentum going toward third, managing to get the throw down to first for the out. It was a very solid major league play. Now here is the lefty Pallante, who's 0 for 2. Pallante, he comes one. Here's the first pitch. Strike, slider outside corner, thigh high to the lefty Pallante. And the count is now no balls and 1 strike. A little ringing in the ears all of a sudden. Pallante winds and deals. Just missed inside with that four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. Didn't have the plate. Was just below the belt. That was the 85th pitch so far, and 5 1/3 innings of work for Pallante. He winds the 1-1. Inside, four-seam fastball, 95 miles per hour. That one was not close. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. At least I thought it was. Here's a pitch. Just off the plate, a knuckle curve. And apparently the count is 2-1. No. I'm going to keep it right there. And here's the pitch. Chopped down the first base side and out of play. And that'll bring the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. I was correct. Sometimes the score bug here, they're professionals, but sometimes they're not even up on it. I mean, God, you should see the yes score bug. It's a mess. It's a full count to the lefty Pallante. Coming set is Pallante. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there to left center field. Coming in is a left fielder, and he makes the catch. Torres brings it on in for the second out of the inning. The Braves still have the best record in all of baseball. Yeah, they are scary this year. They are scary this year. Yeah, it's true. Apps do lag. And really just a nice little play there by Torres, basically coming out of nowhere. Nobody on, 2 out, bottom of the 6th. 3-1 Redbirds. Here's the pitch. Knuckle curve strike, inside corner below the belt to De La Cruz, who's 0 for 2. And they have done a fine job keeping him off the bases, if that isn't a key to any strategy against the Reds. Now here's the 0-1. Strike, knuckle curve on the outer third, about thigh high, and the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. So De La Cruz is in the hole, 0-2 to Pallante. It's a righty-lefty matchup, and here's the 0-2 pitch. In the dirt on another knuckle curve, 80 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's go Cards indeed. Let's go Cards indeed. Nobody on, 2 out. It is a 1-2 count to Ellie De La Cruz. Pallante has his sign, and here's the 1-2. Hit to the right side, played there by Burleson. Tosses Pallante covering, and that'll be the 3rd and final out of the inning. So they've managed to contain De La Cruz so far. However, we head to the top of the 7th inning. It's 3-1 Redbirds out at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Paul D. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. If you know another Redbirds fan who doesn't have access to the game and you think they would dig the call here at Bombers Bet Game Mike, please share it with them. It'd be most appreciated. One of the big reasons I'm doing this is because of the bizarre TV situation that we're all faced with at the moment. And let's face it, most of us, not all of us, only listen to KMOX when we're in the car. But with that in mind, this is Bombers Game Mike. Yeah, Pallante really is pitching something of a gem here. You are right about that, Firefox. Or rather, I should say, the Firefox. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever it is, Pallante has given you everything you could have hoped for in this start in Game 1. Initially, with the game last night, obviously it wasn't his day. So, Leahy was scheduled to go last night, but with the double bill here today, Ollie Marmol decided to put him up against Chris Paddack in Game 1. And then they put Leahy for Game 2. It's a way to play it. We await the top of the 7th inning. You go to the bullpen now. You know, I'm not going to say you're wrong on that. Let's take a look. Okay. So Pallante so far has thrown 93 pitches, 60 of which are strikes. And Paddack threw 84, where 52 were strikes. He's obviously not in the game anymore. I think you probably will pull Pallante just because of the mid-90s pitch count. I'd be very surprised to see him in the bottom of the 7th. Stranger things have obviously happened, but I would tend to concur with this assessment. Now here is Ivan Herrera, and here's the first pitch. Sweeper down in the dirt and out of the zone. He did not swing according to Blue down the first baseline. Bring the count to 1-0. Now here's the righty pitcher, Connor Phillips, 24 games, 26 and 2/3 innings pitch, has an ERA just over 5, a whip of 1.73. Here's the 1-0. Sweeper in the dirt and away, actually gets away, goes to the backstop. And the count is now 2-0 to Ivan Herrera. Oh, you want to go to JoJo in the bottom of the 7th. That's possible. Now, here's the pitch to Herrera. Four-seam fastball down and away, well out of the zone. 99 miles an hour. And the count is 3 balls and no strikes. So righty-righty matchup. Coming set is Phillips, and he deals. Ball 4, so he puts Herrera on with 4 straight to lead off the top of the 7th. And now here comes the slugging Alec Burleson. And they're showing Tito Francona there on the cam once again. Definitely one of the great guys of baseball. A true legend of his age. Once again, that's coming from a guy who's also a Yankee fan. Coming set is Phillips at the stretch. Here's the first pitch to Burleson. Sweeper strike. Swung right over the top of that sweeper. Down and in did Burleson. And the count is now 0-1. Yeah, you got to keep that pressure up. I always want to see a complete game. I just very seldom get the opportunity. Here's the 0-1. Sweeper down and in, and it's being challenged. And Herrera goes and takes second on the play, and no throw. Very interesting there. So it's currently a 1-1 count, and a call is overturned. The call is overturned, and that will make it 0-2 as opposed to 1-1. And, yeah, he's down there. He went all the way to second. There was no throw. I don't know why the scorebug's still showing him at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Downstairs and in. A sweeper had to jackknife out of the way of that one. That'll bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, the runner is at second. Coming set Phillips. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there to shallow left field. Right there is the left fielder. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And it's interesting. The Cardinal scorebug on the Cardinal broadcast is still showing Herrera at first, even though on camera they have clearly showed him several times standing at second. I'm just saying. Now here's Jordan Walker. He's 0 for 3. It's 1 out with a runner at second. Coming set is Phillip. Righty-righty matchup. Here's a pitch. Sweeper down and away and in the dirt away from the righty Walker. The count is now 1-0. Okay, yeah, Z the boss, you got it at second too. Okay, yeah. Finally updated. Coming set is Phillips. Here's the 1-0. Strike, sweeper outside corner right at the knees. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, it is a new world, my friend. Coming set is Phillips. Runner leads off second. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hit on out there to right center field. Going back in front of the track. He's looking up, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Jordan Walker. And that will give the Cardinals a 5-1 lead. Oh, ho, ho. That thing did not have a whole lot of height to it, but it had plenty of distance of the bat of Jordan Walker, and the Redbirds now take a 5-1 lead. Oh, yeah, that thing was special. That was middle. It looked like a four-seamer, 95 miles an hour, middle. He takes it right into the right center field power alley, goes about 2 rows deep, and it is now a 5-1 Redbirds lead here in the top of the 7th in Game 1. Now here's the first pitch to Gorman. Sweeper down and in for a ball, and the count is 1-0. That was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like I said, he just strikes out of nowhere like a ninja. Here's the 1-0. Strike, four-seam fastball outside corner at the knees, 99 miles an hour. That brings the count to 1-1. So the Cardinal offense has been waking up, and he has got that dog in me pennant. The big gold one around his neck does Walker. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play by Gorman. The count is 1-2. Yeah, the big gold one with the big gold pendant got the dog in me right on it. And I got to say, he's friggin' earned it. It's a 1-2 count to the lefty Gorman. It's a righty-lefty matchup. And a 1-2 count with one out and nobody on. Top of the seventh. Here's a pitch. Up and away, four-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour, but clear out of the zone. And the count is now 2-2 to the lefty Gorman. It is a righty-lefty matchup. Coming set is Phillips. He deals. Hit down the first base side and slicing foul on the sweeper down and in. And the count remains 2-2 No, the Cards are capitalizing on what the Reds are giving them. Coming set is Phillips. Here's the 2-2. Sweet curveball down and in to the lefty Gorman, and that brings the count full to 3-2. And if you love this Redbird 5-1 lead, please leave a like on this stream. Now here's the 3-2. Up and away, four-seam fastball, ball four to Gorman. So that'll put a runner on first with one out here in the top of the seventh inning. Already 2 in on this frame following the 2-run bombola by Jordan Walker, which scored Ivan Herrera. And now there is a powwow between Phillips and Stevenson out on the pitching mound. And it has been broken up. 18 pitches so far in this outing for Phillips. Yeah, the Cardinals play unusually well on the road, which is a great thing. All right, now here's Mason Wynn, the right-hander. Righty-righty matchup. Runner leads off first. One out, top of the seventh, 5-1 Cards. Here's the pitch. Strike, sweeper outside corner at the knees, and the count is 0-1. Runner leads off first. 5-1 Redbirds. Coming set is Phillips. Here's the 0-1. Swinging strike on a sweeper down and in. Swung right underneath that one. Did Mason. And the count is now 0-2. And to think, this is just our first of 2 games here today. Coming set is Phillips. Here's the 0-2. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper down and away for the second out of the inning. Mason Wynn did not look particularly stellar in that at-bat. But, as they say, that's baseball, Susan. Now, I believe this is the lefty hitting Torres, who is 1 for 2 today with a walk. A fine major league debut on his part. Now, here's the first pitch. Up and away, four-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour, nowhere near the zone. That brings the count to 1-0. Coming set is Phillips. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 1-0. Up and away, four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour. Once again, nowhere near the zone. That was about helmet high. Over the outer third, and that'll bring the count to 2-0. And they keep showing Torres' family out there like you do in every major league broadcast when you have a guy who's making his debut. Here's a 2-0. Strike, four-seam fastball, inside corner at the knees, and that brings the count to 2-1. You always have to periodically, you have to find them, and then occasionally go back to them for every at-bat or amazing play they make. It's just an unwritten rule of broadcasting of Major League Baseball. Now here's the 2-1. Swinging strike on the sweeper down and in at 86 miles an hour, and that'll bring the count 2-2 to the lefty hitting Torres. Runner on first, 2 out. 2 in so far here in the top of the seventh. It's 5-1 Redbirds. Here's the 2-2. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play on the sweeper down and in. And the count will remain 2-2. So far, a very fine outing by the Redbirds here in this first game of the doubleheader. Coming set is Phillips. The runner leads off first. Now here's the 2-2. Up and away, a four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour. Once again, not particularly close to the zone. And Torres has worked the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Looking in for the sign is Phillips. He comes set at the belt. He deals. Hit down the right field line, going back towards the wall, and it is caught. An amazing play out there in right field, clearly robbing Torres of an extra base hit and an RBI. However, that will do it, but the Redbirds put 2 more on the board following the 2-run bomb-ola by Jordan Walker. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's 7th inning stretch time down at Great American Ballpark. And as I often like to say, because I like to generally do things that make my audience happy, I will not do a cappella, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But at some point in time, with no irony whatsoever, I will do a full God Bless America. I've been practicing for that for over 20 years. My wife has suffered through it many times. And then you will get to be subject to it, but not today. I'm keeping that one in my back pocket. So, 7th inning stretch time. Let's see what's going on, chat. Yeah, it was a great catch. The one thing I got to say that I've always liked about Cardinal fans is there's no question where the allegiance is. But Cardinal fans also really like good baseball, and they will recognize it even if it comes from an opponent. Maybe less so in the postseason, but you get the idea. I've always been impressed by that. Save it for the 4th of July. Put it on your calendar. Put it on your calendar. So if you're just joining me here, 5-1 Redbirds. And if you like what you're seeing, please leave a like. Helps the channel out immensely. You want to see more? Hit subscribe with the notification bell. This channel needs to grow. We want to reach more Cardinal fans. Or any other fans that's interested in watching the Cardinals. It has been a fun year to watch them. 5-9-0 Cardinals, 1-2-1 Reds. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And let's see. Yep, and there is a pitching change. Ryan Stanek through 23 games, 20 innings pitched, and a 6.30 ERA. And the first pitch is a ball upstairs. And the count is 1-0 to the righty hitting Stewart, the third 3-hitter today, who is 0 for 2. Stanek comes set. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike, 4-seam fastball right down Broadway. Stewart cut right underneath that one. That was in the high 90s. And Stanek's got himself quite a blonde mullet going on. Coming set at the Birds. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike, 4-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour. Swung right underneath it again, almost to the exact same spot. And Stanek is now ahead in this count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Stanek obviously hasn't been great, but no better time to turn it around. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Splitter in the dirt and away. Bounces out in front of home plate. And that'll bring the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, little girl with the curl is Stanek. Only way I can describe it. He comes set at the Bird. And the righty deals. Swinging strike 3 on the 4-seam fastball. Down, hacking goes Stewart for the first out of the inning. So Stanek comes in here and basically blows away the Reds 3-hitter with almost heat. It was all heat that Stewart swung through and missed 3 times. He's clearly getting some elevation on that 4-seamer. Now here's the lefty hitting cleanup hitter low. Here's the pitch. Strike, 4-seam fastball, 97 miles per hour, right down Broadway. And the count is now 0-1 to Lowe, who is 1 for 2 today. Now, here's the 0-1 pitch. Foul back behind the plate now to play on that 98 mile per hour 4-seamer that was inside about the belt. And Stanek is once again ahead into the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, one out. Stanek comes set at the Birds. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 0-2. Hit on out to left field. Coming in is Torres, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So a couple of quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th for Stanek, looking to right his ship of 2026, and the corresponding performance there, too. Good to get a tater on Memorial Day weekend. You know it. You know it. So nobody on, 2 out, bottom of the 7th inning, 5-1 Redbirds. Here's the righty Suarez. Here's the pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. Fair seam fastball, 99 miles an hour. And the count is now 1 ball and no strikes. And here's the pitch. Strike, sinker, right down Broadway, 96 miles an hour, and the count is 1-1. Stanek is your closer on MLB The Show. 14 of 16. That's pretty darn good. Here's the 1-1. Swinging strike on that 4-seam fastball up and in, 99 miles an hour. Suarez, he hacked right underneath it. Probably missed it by about an inch. Nobody so far this inning has touched it. Coming set is Stanek. Here's the 1-2. Splitter bounces up in front of the plate, and that brings the count to 2-2. Yeah, his 6.3 ERA ain't pretty, but clearly he's working on it here. Eugenio Suarez, 0 for 6 against Stanek. Here's the pitch. Chopped down the third base side and out of play on a splitter down and in. That was 90 miles an hour. Righty-righty matchup. Yes, he does need to bring that down. Coming set is Stanek. Here's a pitch. Foul back behind the plate and out of play. 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour. It keeps the count at 2-2. So Stanek's been coming here with the heat. They have yet to be able to square it up. He comes set at the Birds. Here's a 2-2. Foul down the first base side and out of play on a slider down and away, and the count remains 2-2. Stepping back into the box is Suarez. Setting at the Birds is Stanek. Here's a 2-2. Foul back behind the plate and out of play on a sinker right down Broadway at 99 miles an hour. A 99-mile-an-hour sinker is no joke. There was a day and age when that would have been eye-popping. Now, that's just business as usual. These guys throw so hard now. Coming set is Stanek. Here's a 2-2. Just missed low with the 4-seam fastball. Had the plate, but it was just a bit too low, according to the home plate umpire. They were wise not to challenge it. We saw what it would have been. It's a full count to Suarez. Here's a 3-2. Just missed inside on the slider. So a 2-out walk by Suarez. So Stanek puts him aboard. And the inning continues. Now, here comes the 6-hitter, the righty hitting Steer, who's 0 for 1. Runner on first, 2 out, bottom of the 7th inning. 5-1 Redbirds down at the Great American Ballpark in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Now, here's first pitch of Steer. Hit to the left side and got on a line there by the third baseman, Prieto, for the third and final out of the inning. So a pretty solid bottom of the 7th by Stanek. And we head to the top of the 8th inning. It is 5-1 Cardinals over the Reds in Game 1 of this split doubleheader at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Paul D. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me. If this is your first time, I'm your broadcaster, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And this is Bombers Game Mike. Let's take a look at the chat. Yes, we will take it. Yeah, Stanek is the opposite of Sanson. If he cuts his hair, he would become a super strong. I'm willing to run the experiment. The question remains, is Stanek willing to do it? Not so trusting of the bullpen. Well, I can't exactly blame you for that. It hasn't always been lights out this year, admittedly. But I can tell you this, right now, the Cards obviously would be extremely well served to add a little bit of insurance runs here. Leading off, we got Prieto, followed by Vic Scott, and then back to the top of the order with J.J. Witherholt. So, hey, if you could put together a formula so far for game one of a doubleheader and one on the road, even as well as the Cards have played on the road, this is largely how you would do it. And a lot of credit to Pallante. You know, despite that solo bomb-ola in the second, he never broke and gave some respectable distance. I mean, he went 6 innings, only giving up the 1 run. At the moment, I do not know who is getting hot down in the pen. I wish I did know. Believe me, there's so much that I wish I could have in front of me to better track this game, or any game for that matter. Now, here is the righty, Jose Franco, through 8 games, 14 2/3 inning pitches, an ERA of 4.3, and here's the first pitch. Strike, 4-seam fastball, down and away on the outside corner, and the count is now 0-1 to Prieto, who's 0 for 3. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 0-1. And he popped it straight up out there in left center field. Calling for it, the center fielder. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the first out of this top of the 8th inning. So, an effective start there by Franco. And now here's Victor Scott, who's 2 for 3 this afternoon. A good day for Victor Scott, no doubt. You'll take that from him. Coming set is Franco. Here's the pitch. Just misses with a 4-seam fastball off the plate, 95 miles an hour. And the count is now 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Foul back behind the plate and out of play. 4-seam fastball up and in at 97. And that brings the count to 1-1. I thought they would lose 100 games this year. Well, I'm sure glad that is not where they're going at the moment. Here's the 1-1. Hit to the right side and through for a base hit. Fielding is the right fielder. So a 1-out single by Victor Scott, who, might I add, is now 3 for 4 on the afternoon. As the old RoboCop saying goes, I'd buy that for $1. Definitely one of the best movies of the American 20th century. Leading off first is Victor Scott. Here's J.J. Witherholt. It's his 4th at-bat today, I believe. Coming set is Franco. Here's the pitch. 4-seam fastball just off the plate outside to the lefty Witherholt. That brings the count to 1-0. Like I said, J.J. he's 1 for 3. He just looks like he belongs. Here's the 1-0. Hit to the right side and foul. Slices into the crowd down the first baseline. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, Victor Scott, he's definitely a candidate to steal one. Coming set is Franco. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 1-1. Swinging strike and a changeup out and away, 89 miles an hour. Swung right underneath that one, did Witherholt. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.J. And time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Witherholt. Victor Scott II is on first. There's 1 out. It's the top of the 8th. 5-1 Cardinals. So 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Foul back and out of play on the 4-seam fastball, out and over the plate at 96 miles per hour. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, you never count a Major League offense out of the equation, especially one that has power like the Reds. Now, here's the 1-2. Foul back on a changeup up and in, 89 miles an hour, and the count remains 1-2. Let's put it this way. Right now, The one thing that Ollie Marmol, the entire roster, staff, and Cardinal Nation want is to keep the Reds right there. Here's the pitch. Slider down and in, nowhere particularly close to the zone, 87 miles an hour. And the count is 2-2. Leading off first is Victor Scott. 1 out. It's a 2-2 count in the top of the 8th. 5-1 Redbirds. Franco deals, and he fouls it off. And fouls it, tips it into the glove for strike 3. Down swinging goes J.J. Wetherell for the second out of the inning. I was seeing if he would hold on to that. He did, the catcher. Now here's Herrera, who's 1 for 2. 1 on, 2 out. Victor Scott leads off first. Righty Franco deals. A slider downstairs. Had the plate, but it was about shin high, and the count is 1-0. A single, a walk, ground into double play, and a walk for Ivan Herrera. Coming set is Franco. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike. Down in a slider. It was down and away in the dirt. Was easily 6 inches away from the thing. Not Herrera's finest hack, I think it's fair to say, despite his brilliance at the plate recently. Scott leads off first. Franco comes set at the belt. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the pitch. Hit on out there to right center field. Going back to the track. They're looking up, and it falls, and it gets away from both the right and center fielder, and it's going all the way into the corner. They have to play a far carom, and that will put runners on second and third with 2 out. I am absolutely shocked. No, correction. Scoring is Victor Scott all the way from third, and that will be an RBI triple for Ivan Herrera. He basically split the outfielders. They could have made the catch. It missed the glove of the center fielder, hit the bottom of the wall, began rolling towards the right field pole, and before you know it, Herrera is on third, and another run is in. 6-1 Cardinals here in the top of the 8th. Now here's the first pitch to Burleson. Slider in the dirt, down and in for a ball. And the count is 1-0. Leading off third is Herrera. He has absolutely been tearing up the pea patch lately. Coming set is Franco. Here's the 1-0. Swinging strike, four-seam fastball outside corner at the knees, and the count is 1-1. And with a 6-1 lead here in the top of the 8th, the Redbirds are in the catbird seat in this one. They just got to shut it down with the bullpen. Now here's the 1-1. Down and away, a changeup for a ball. 90-mile-per-hour changeup. Leading off first is Herrera. It's a 2-1 count to the lefty Burleson. Here's a 2-1. Swinging strike on a slider on the outside corner, thigh high. Swung right through it. Did Burleson. And the count is now 2-2. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy how I paint the picture. Coming sets Franco. Here's a 2-2. Chopped down the first base side and out of play. And the count is 2-2. That was a slider down and in. No, thank you so much. I do my best to paint the picture. That is one of my foremost goals in calling any game. Common sets Franco. Here's a 2-2. Just missed the outside corner with the four-seam fastball at 97 miles per hour. And the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on third, 2 out. One already in here in the top of the 8th following the triple by Herrera. Here's a pitch. In the dirt, a slider, ball 4. And so that will put runners on first and third with 2 out here in the top of the 8th inning. And now here comes Jordan Walker. And the last time he was up, he hit a 2-run home run to right center field. Very impressive stuff. 22 pitches in this outing so far for Franco. And yeah, they're showing the replay on that one. And yeah, absolutely. Walker was all over that pitch like a crow on curly fries. Here's the first pitch. Slider swung and strike. Swung right over the top of that one, did Jordan Walker. And the count is 0-1. Now Cummins sets Franco. Here's the 0-1. Down and away, a slider clear out of the zone. And the count is 1-1. It's a righty-righty matchup with the righty Franco against the righty hitting Jordan Walker. Runners lead off first and third with 2 out. 6-1 Redbirds, one already in here in the top of the 8th. Franco comes set at the belt. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Pops straight up. The old home run in a silo. Underneath is the third baseman who makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. However, the Cardinals, they add one more. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-1 Redbirds here in Game 1 of this split doubleheader down at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Paul D. If you're just joining me or it's your first time, 1, thank you for joining me. 2, thank you for joining me for the first time if you're new. If you like what you see, please leave a like. If you know another Cardinals fan that for one reason or another, like many of us, can't actually get the game, or at least are unwilling to, because it takes 3 or 4 different subscriptions to do so, and you think they'd enjoy this stream and my call of the game, please share it with them. I'm here to try to bring as much Redbird baseball to as many fans as possible. And if you like what you see, hit subscribe. And with that in mind, this is Bombers Game Mic. 6-1 Redbirds going to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Game 1. Now, what's going on in the chat? Cubs are trash. Well, I appreciate the trash talking, my friend, but they are competitive. Do you think I'm good betting under 9.5 runs? I try not to give gambling advice, just on policy. I don't want to be responsible for anybody's lost money. But anybody else in the chat who wants to weigh in on that, by all means. Cubs are losing. That's always a fine thing. Let's see. Oh, you chose me over the radio, bro. You're choosing me over KMOX? That's a hell of a compliment. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Those guys are pros. Well, hey, I'm glad you think it's great. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. All right, we are here for the bottom of the 8th inning. Now, on the mound for the Cards is George Soriano. That can go either way. But leading off is Dunn, followed by Stevenson and then Myers. 6-11-0 Cardinals, 1-2-1 Reds. It's been all Redbirds all day here in Game 1. Soriano, 20 2/3 innings, an ERA of 3.48, and a whip of 1.21. He shows bunt. He pulls back, and it's a ball on a slider that misses the plate. The count is 1-0 to the righty Dunn. Righty-righty matchup. Coming set at the belt is Soriano here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. And he popped him straight on up in the infield. Who's got it? It looks like it is Mason Wynn who squeezes it for the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. So a quick out there by George Soriano. When he's good, he's very, very nice. When he's bad, it ain't pretty. Now, here is the catcher, the righty hitting Stevenson, who's 0 for 2 today. Bottom of the 8th inning, nobody on, 1 out. George Soriano is on the mound. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Strike, slider, outside corner, thigh high to the righty Stevenson, and that'll make the count. No balls and 1 strike. He looks in for the sign. He basically has his back towards the batter, pointing 45 degrees up third base. Here's the pitch. Sweeper strike. Got him on the check swing there on the sweeper down and away. And the count is now no balls and 2 strikes to Stevenson. Soriano kicks around the mound a little bit. He comes set at the belt. Stream third base side of the rubber. Here's the 0-2. Just missed on the sweeper on the outside corner. 86 miles an hour. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coming set at the belt is Soriano. Here's the 1-2. He's popped straight on up into shallow center field. Coming in there is Victor Scott. He's underneath it. He squeezes it for the second out of the inning. So a couple quick outs here in the bottom of the eighth for George Soriano. And now, here comes Friedel, the left-handed hitter. I believe he is pinch hitting, y'all. Yep, he's pinch hitting for Myers. So the left-handed Friedel faces the right-hander Soriano. Extreme third base side of the rubber. Here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour, right down Broadway. And the count is now no balls and one strike. Nobody on, two out in the bottom of the eighth inning. 6-1 Cardinals. Soriano is set. Here's the 0-1. Chopped down to first base. Fielded there by Burleson. Takes it to the bag himself in time for the third and final out of the inning. 1, 2, 3 goes Cincinnati. And we go to the top of the ninth inning. It's 6-1 Redbirds. They are in the catbird seat, folks. And I'm Paul D. Thank you so much for you all joining me here for game one of this split doubleheader. And you are watching or listening to Bombers Game Mike. 6-1 Cardinals. The Reds are bums and can't get none of my money no more. Cheers. Cardinals win by 5 or more. Hey, Warren. Tulsa, Oklahoma in the house. Cards win by 5 or more. 63% chance. Excellent. Yeah, Aguarin just showing on up. Just appearing out of nowhere, ex-Nihilo. I love it. So we await the top of the ninth inning. No doubt the Cardinals want to get themselves a little bit more insurance there. But whoever they send out for the bottom of the ninth, it's not going to be a save situation. And hopefully it doesn't become one. Oh, yeah. A fine afternoon for a double bill of Cardinal baseball. And it's all going to be right here on Bombers Game Mike. And yeah, I keep reiterating the point because people come and go throughout a stream. And so I like to make the broadcast notes clear. After this game is over, I will go and I'll schedule the stream for the second game this evening, which I believe starts at 6:15 Central Time. All right, here come the Cardinals, 6-11-0 against 1-2-1 Reds. Leading off is Nolan Gorman. It looks like Franco is back on the mound for his second frame. Here's the first pitch. Strike, slider, outside corner, right at the knees. The count is 0-1. The righty throwing Franco against the lefty hitting Gorman, who himself is 0-for-3 today. 6-1 Cardinals, top of the ninth. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike, four-seam fastball on the outside corner, thigh high. Swung underneath that one, did Gorman. And the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. 6-1 Redbirds down at the Great American Ballpark. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Gorman. So we will wait a little longer. Franco has thrown 27 pitches so far in his outing here today. He comes set at the belt. Franco deals. Upstairs, four-seam fastball, 96 miles per hour. I think it was over the plate, but about nose high. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Franco comes set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul back on a slider down and away, behind the plate, out of play. And the count remains 1-2. In and out of cell phone service on the way home from Wellington, Kansas. Well, I hope your business in Wellington, Kansas treated you well, Goran. Here's the 1-2. Off the plate, a changeup, basically floated over the righty batter's box. Nolan Gorman, strikeout swing, a flyout, and a walk back in the 7th. It is a 2-2 count to the lefty hitting Gorman. And Franco deals. Out and away, four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. And that brings the count full to 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nolan Gorman. Coming set is Franco. Now here's the 3-2. Hit down the third base side and out of play on a slider on the outer third. And the count remains 3-2. So it's 6-1 Cardinals here in the top of the ninth. So far, it's been all Redbirds in Game 1 at the Great American Ballpark. Coming set Franco. Here's a 3-2. And he popped it up into shallow right. Underneath it is the second baseman. He squeezes it for the first out of the inning here in the top of the ninth. That was the 33rd pitch for Franco. And now here comes the righty hitting shortstop, Mason Wynn. He's 1 for 4 today. Nobody on, 1 out. Mason Wynn digs into the box. Righty-righty matchup. Franco comes set, and here's a pitch. Out and away, four-seam fastball, 97 miles per hour, nowhere near the zone. That brings the count to 1-0. And Franco comes set yet again. The 1-0 pitch. Down and in the dirt on a slider. And that'll bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes. It's good to see people making friends in the chat. We're all friends of baseball here. Really a wonderful audience. Here's a 2-0. Down and in the dirt, a slider. Once again, and nowhere near the zone. And the count is now 3-0. Now, I have to say, those of you who have joined Bombers Game Mike from the beginning here are a very classy crowd. Here's a 3-0 pitch. That's ball 4. So he puts Mason Wynn on with 4 straight. And now the Cardinals will have a runner on first with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Yep, the Yankees have been postponed today. I think they got hit with the rain that canceled the Cardinal Reds game last night. Now here's the lefty hitting Torres in his major league debut, who's 1 for 3. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball on the outer third, just below the belt. And that'll bring the count to 0-1. I believe they're going to play that makeup game on September 22nd, if I remember correctly. Righty-lefty matchup, coming set. Here's the 0-1. Out and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles per hour. Floated over the righty batter's box. And the count is 1-1. Ah, I see. Coming set is Franco. Here's the 1-1. In the dirt with a slider. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, Garrett Cole did a fantastic job. 6 innings of shutout ball. He is a horse, by definition. He's worth every penny they're paying him, and they're paying him a lot of pennies. Here's a 2-1. Hit on out there to right field, going back in front of the wall. He's looking up, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Torres, and that will make it an 8-1 St. Louis Cardinal lead. Oh, his first major league home run in his first major league game. Torres goes over the wall, and that will give the Cardinals a 8-1 lead here in the top of the 9th. Oh, a low liner gets into about the second row in right center, and boy, he is all kinds of happy, and they do not give him the rookie icing treatment on his first home run. Here's a pitch. Slider for a strike. Prieto swings right over the top of that thing. Counts 0-1. But man, oh man. No, they don't ice out a 28-year-old rookie. That would be a dick move in any era of baseball. But yeah, the Cards have an 8-1 lead. Here's the pitch to Prieto. Changeup bounces up in front of the plate. Count is 1-1. His family in the stands are basically crying from joy, and who could absolutely blame them? And Torres also had his chance wearing Got the Dog in Me pendant. Not bad for your first day on the job, am I right, folks? Cheers to him. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's a fly ball out there to medium left. Right underneath it is the left fielder who squeezes it for the second out of the inning. So they definitely got that long ball going today. And Torres, man, he got his pitch. It didn't have a lot of height, but it got over that wall, and it counts all the same. 8-1 Cardinals, they are indeed in the catbird seat here in Game 1. Yeah, they're 2 out, nobody on, top of the ninth. Here's the first pitch to Victor Scott. Slider strike on the inner third at the knees. The count is 0-1. Quite an offensive showing overall, both for Torres today and the Cardinals as a whole. It's an 0-1 count to Victor Scott. 45th pitch from Franco here. Yes, they did rob him earlier. Here's the 0-1. Up and in, four-seam fastball. Had to get out of the way of that one. Basically some chin music there by Franco to Victor Scott. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Now I'll make the count 1-1. Cardinals win by 6 or more. 89%. Yeah. Here's the pitch. Slider down and away and in the dirt. And the count note now goes to 2-1 to Victor Scott the second. Vic Scott, he's 3 for 4 today. He's having one hell of a day at the plate. Franco throws the 2-1 off the plate for a ball. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles per hour. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, let Torres pitch the ninth. I don't know if we're quite in that territory yet, but here's the 3-1. Ball 4. So taking his base is Victor Scott the second. And the Cardinals have themselves a base runner with 2 out in the top of the 9th inning. They already have 2 in here in the top frame of the 9th. They're looking to put this baby out of reach and out of reach fully. Leave a like if you're loving this Cardinal outcome. Little powwow on the mound there for Franco. Runner on first, 2 out. Top of the 9th, already 2 in for the Cardinals. It's an 8-1 Redbird lead here in Game 1 of the split doubleheader. And we got some tarps off Cardinal fans in the audience. They're taking their shirts off. I am not shocked. Here's the first pitch to JJ. Slider down and in for a ball, 86 miles an hour. Count is 1-0. This is the 6th at-bat today for J.J. Weatherall. He's 1 for 4. Coming set is Franco. That was his 50th pitch. Here's the 1-0. Four-seam fastball inside, well off the plate to the lefty J.J. And the count is now 2 balls and no strikes to the Cardinals' lefty hitting second baseman. Runner on first, 2 out, top of the 9th, 8-1 Cardinals. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Strike inside quarter above the knees. That'll bring the count to 2-1. That was a four-seam fastball in the mid-90s. Coming set is Franco. Here's the 2-1. Swinging strike on the changeup, fading down and away to the lefty. And that'll bring the count to 2-2. Even more Cardinal fans in attendance are taking off their shirt. We're getting impromptu tarps off for the Cardinal fans in attendance. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hit to the right side. Right there's the second baseman. Fields it on a hop. Throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. But the Cardinals, they tag on 2 more on the first major league home run there by Torres. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's 8-1 Cardinals. I'm Paul D. Thank you for joining me. If you're enjoying the stream, hit a like. You know there's a Cardinal fan who doesn't have the game that enjoyed my call. Please share it with them. And if it's your first time, or if it's not even your first time, you just haven't hit subscribe, please do. You'll know when it's happening. And it's happening again for a 6:15 start later today. And with that in mind, this is Bombers Game Mic. 8-1 Cards. Let's go to the chat. Yeah, let Torres pitch the 9th. I think we'd have to need a few more runs before Ali Marmol goes in that direction. But, you know, it's not even as funny as the comment is, it's actually not even the worst idea you could think of with having to play 2 today. You can save 1 arm, right? But it's still too close to be able to pull that off. Usually the way I see it is you need at least 10 runs to be able to justify that move. But I'm not Ollie Marmol. I'm just your broadcaster, your baseball Cardinal friend Paul D, calling the game today. Okay, let's see if there's anything here. Missouri Gaming. No, I don't think Torres wants to go back to the minors, ever. And after today, he makes it that much harder to do so. But we'll see what happens over the haul here. I mean, Nate Church is obviously on the shelf for 10 days. He's got a knee issue. So that needs to be filled in for. And of course, Lars Newpar, he'll be making his way back. 8-12-0 Cardinals, 1-2-0 Reds. We are here for the bottom of the 9th inning. It's all Redbirds here in Game 1. They are here to secure the last 3 outs here. Now, the righty Svensson, he's on the mound. Here's the first pitch. Down and in, a sweeper out of the zone. Matt Svensson, 23 games, 24 2/3 innings pitch, a 9.12 ERA. I think we've lived through that. Here's a pitch. Foul back on a sinker right down Broadway, 96 miles an hour. And the count is 1-1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. 8-1 Redbirds. Last licks for the Reds here in Game 1. And even more skins are we seeing. Here's the 1-1. Cutter down and in, jackknifing out of the way. It is Pallante. Goes all the way to the backstop. The count's 2-1. Yes, we do have the luxury of having a talented 4-outfielder rotation. It's a very fine point. It's a 2-1 count to the lefty Pallante, who himself is 0 for 3 today. Coming set is Fonson. Here's the pitch. Sweeper down and in. Pretty much the same as the last pitch, except it didn't go all the way to the backstop. And the count is now 3-1 strike. If you're up 7 runs, attack the friggin' zone. There's no reason to be fancy here. Just get after it. Definitely get after it. Coming set is Fonson. Here's a 3-1. Ball 4 on the sinker, down and in, 97 miles per hour. So the Reds draw a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Sponson can't seem to find the strike zone for reasons. So a runner on first, nobody out. Here comes Eli De La Cruz. He's 0 for 3 today. Now here's the first pitch to De La Cruz. Hit on out there to right center field. Giving chase is the center fielder Victor Scott. He's at the track, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Retreating towards first is Pallante for the first out of the inning. That was an extremely fine play. He got a really good jump on it. He basically came down into his glove about midway on the track itself in right center field. Now here's the righty hitting 3-hitter Stewart, who's 0 for 3. Runner on first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. It's a righty-righty matchup. Runner leads off first. Coming set is Fonson. Here's the first pitch. Strike, sinker on the outer third, right at the knees. A little on the low side, but it's called a strike, and they are not challenging it. And the count is 0-1 to Stewart. Oh, he did challenge it, and the call is upheld. It is a strike, so the Reds lose one of their 2 remaining ABS challenges. Cheers to that. Coming set is the righty Svensson. Here's the 0-1. Strike, sinker, outside corner, right above the knees. And the count's 0-2. That was a sinker at 98 miles an hour. And I'm counting at least 2 dozen in one section tarps off guys here in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper. Down goes Stewart for the second out of the inning. So the Reds are down to their final strike. And now those who have taken off their shirts, the Redbird fans in attendance, they're now whooping them around in a circle, just like you're supposed to. Here's the first pitch to low. Strike, sinker outside corner at the knees. That was a sinker at 97 miles per hour. And the count is 0-1. And then there was one indeed. Common sets Fonson. Here's the pitch. Sweeper down and in, just misses the zone. And that'll make the count officially 1-1. They are ABS challenging it. And the call is upheld. It is indeed a ball. So the Cardinals lose one of their two remaining ABS challenges. So runner on first, 2 out. It's a 1-1 count to the lefty low. It's a righty-lefty matchup with the righty Swanson on the mound. Here's the 1-1. Chop foul right over to the Cardinal on deck circle. And the Reds are down to their final strike. They are down to their final strike with the runner on first, 2 out, bottom of the ninth. It's 8-1 Redbirds. Are we going to be playing the victory tune here in Game 1? Let's find out. Here's the 1-2. Sweeper off the plate and misses. The count is now even at 2-2. 1 strike away from playing the victory tune and securing the very first win in this doubleheader here this afternoon. Now here's a 2-2. Swinging strike 3 down. Hacking he goes for the final out of the inning. And it's an 8-1 final, and that means we got the victory tune. 8-1 in Game 1 of this doubleheader. It was all Redbirds all the time. A great start by Pallante. Strong showing from the Cardinal bullpen. And the offense came out with their bats today. 8-12-0 Redbirds. 1-2-1 the Reds. That's right. Cardinal pitching 2 hit the Cincinnati Reds this afternoon. Well, it was a pleasure hosting you. Thank you so much. 8-1 is your final. So this is the first of 2 games here today. I will be back for Game 2, which I believe is a 6:15 Central Time start. Let me verify that. Yeah, so 6:15 p.m. Central Time. I will be back. I should be back on the air around anywhere between 6:05 and 6:10. And then we get to do this all over again. A beautiful thing. 8-1 Redbirds is your final. They take Game 1. Thank you all so much for joining me here in Game 1. Your final is 8-1 Redbirds. Now, this has been a production of Bombers Game Mike. I'm Paul D. I'll see you later on tonight. Got to figure out something to do with my next 3 hours. But with all of that in mind, Bombers Game Mike over and out. 8-1 Redbirds, your final.